Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Hokage. The attributes are greatly increased. Chapter 81. No matter what, you have to give us an explanation after all. Terumi Mei slowly opened up the formation. She is a woman with her own ambitions. Now that the fourth Mizukage is dead, she wants to naturally become the fifth generation project, but she also needs an attitude towards the enemies who want to kill the fourth generation. Terumi Mei, as a double-blood limited ninja of lava style and boil style, you are naturally very powerful. But unfortunately, your chakra level has only just reached Jonin, and you are not good enough now. If you want to follow, let's wait a few years before I fight. Kusa Chiba shook his head gently. If you don't try it, how will you know? Terumi Mei looked at Kusa Chiba stubbornly. Terumi Mei paused and seemed to find something wrong with her challenging attitude. She chuckled and said, "Of course, facing a good-looking man like you, I can also give you a melting kiss." Melting kiss. Kusa Chiba squinted his eyes and chuckled, but he meant it. I happen to have just killed Mizukage and gained some Kage level attribute points. I can also upgrade another attribute of mine to Kage level. Then, if I also upgrade my immortal body to Kage level. Kusa Chiba thought for a while and clicked Sage body to Kage level. I agreed. Kusa Chiba smiled, just in time to try out how powerful the Kage level Sage body is. Do you think I will be afraid of you? Kusa Chiba's mouth was frivolous. Even the many mist ninjas were already in deep shock. This man, is he crazy? Haha, I'm afraid you'll be melted by Terumi Mei-sama's boil style, right? You'd really risk your life for the beauty. I originally thought this man was an invincible man, but now it seems that he will die at the hands of a woman sooner or later. Sooner or later, you're going to die now. They believe that Terumi Mei will use boil style to completely kill Kusa Chiba. In this case, they will naturally not be jealous anymore. As long as you can kill him, everything is worth it. This is the thought in the hearts of all the mist ninjas. Terumi Mei felt a wave of disgust in her heart at this time. These people actually want to make me pay for my innocence, and then just take revenge for that fourth generation incident. Originally, Terumi Mei still had a deep hatred for Kusa Chiba in her heart, but now it has completely disappeared. Asterisk. HMPH, wait to die. Kusa Chiba is dead. What's going on? Where's lava style? Where's boil style? Why is there nothing wrong with Kusa Chiba? Woman, what is he doing? He didn't forget to use lava style, did he? At this time, all the mist ninjas fell into a state of anger. Unfortunately, Terumi Mei ignored them at this time. She just looked at Kusa Chiba blankly, her mind went blank, and she completely forgot to think. Now, hand over the beheading sword. In return, Kusanagi village can form an alliance with Kurigakure. Kusa Chiba let go of Terumi Mei and said to the stunned Kurigakure. You, don't even think about it. Jonin looked at Kusa Chiba with an angry expression. The actions of Terumi Mei and Kusa Chiba just now made all the men in Kurigakure feel jealous. They did not want to see Kusa Chiba leave Kurigakure so easily. It seems that someone is not convinced yet. Kusa Chiba glanced at Terumi Mei casually. This person must not be convinced by you anymore. Then I will help you kill him by the way. Death. As soon as the words fell, Kusa Chiba's body erupted with an extremely terrifying chakra energy. This chakra ability is like a hurricane. Even if he does not attack Terumi Mei, it makes Terumi Mei feel the terrifying destructive power of a 10th level wind. As for the entire sea surface, a tsunami has completely erupted. This tsunami was aimless and did not attack anyone, but it centered on Kusa Chiba and instantly erupted around Kusa Chiba. This is the chakra wave of the Kage level immortal body. Only, not good. The Jonin who just spoke felt fear in his heart. But at this moment, Kusa Chiba appeared behind, and a stream of blood burst out from his chest. Ah, kill one Jonin and gain 20 attribute points. The system prompt sounded on time. Okay, what a terrifying speed. All the mist ninjas had such a shocking thought in their hearts. This speed is even more terrifying than the fight between Kusa Chiba and 4th Mizukage just now. Just looking at this speed, they don't have the courage to fight Kusa Chiba at all. So now, who else wants to object? Kusa Chiba narrowed his eyes, slowly straightened up, and asked calmly while looking at the many fog ninjas. Hand over the beheading sword. Terumi Mei finally regained her composure and said calmly. Kusa Chiba chuckled, this time he gained a good harvest in Mist Ninja Village. A few cage level attribute points, a Mochi Zabuza, and the heart of a beautiful woman. Kusa Chiba glanced back at Terumi Mei, and disappeared into the night with Mochi Zabuza. Kusa Chiba is such a mysterious person. I hope I can meet you again in the future. Terumi Mei looked at Kusa Chiba's back and sighed. She felt a sense of loss for some reason. One day later, Yi and Mochi Zabuza appeared at the border of the Kingdom of Water. Since Zabuza has collected the Peach Land, how could Shiro miss it? Kusa Chiba chuckled, stepping on the heavy snow, looking for a chance encounter with Shiro. In one day, the news that Kusa Chiba had killed the fourth Mizukage had spread throughout the Land of Water. Because, on this day, Terumi Mei powerfully became the fifth Mizukage as a double-blooded limited ninja. After taking office, Terumi Mei sent envoys to sign contracts with major countries, and at the same time abolished the secluded policy of the fourth Mizukage, making the entire Water Kingdom feel hope again. The village of Blood Mist has since become a piece of history. The Kingdom of Water is on the road to revival. Kusa Chiba was not interested in the revival of the Water Kingdom. He took Mochi Zabuza to find a village where it always snowed on the border of the Water Kingdom, and then came here. Bai Nai is a descendant of the Snow Clan in the Kingdom of Water, and possesses the Ice Escape Blood Inheritance limit. Unfortunately, due to the high-pressure policies of the fourth Mizukage, the entire Water Country regards the blood succession limit as a demonic existence. And Bai's father, after discovering the limits of her mother's blood inheritance, led the villagers to kill his wife without hesitation. After killing his wife, Bai's father still stopped and turned his finger on Bai. Bai, who was in panic, broke out and used the blood succession limit, and the ice release blood succession limit instantly killed all the villagers present. Overnight, Bai lost his mother and then killed his father with his own hands, becoming a beggar living in the Land of Water. While recalling Bai's information in his mind, Kusa Chiba suddenly saw a long-haired child. This child has a female-like appearance and long black hair. Even though he has become a beggar now, he still has a unique loneliness. He did not actively look for food from passers-by. Instead, he sat on the ground, hugging his knees and looking at his toes blankly. The loneliness and coldness on his body could not be concealed at all even on this snowy night. This child has the limit of Ice Escape Blood Inheritance. Momochi Zabuza licked his lips and said with some surprise. Unlike the ignorant people of the Kingdom of Water, Momochi Zabuza, as a ninja, naturally knows the powerful strength of a blood succession limit supporter. Kusa Chiba looked at the child in front of him. This child was now in ragged clothes, wandering his feet, and his long black hair was messy in front of him, covering his eyes that were more lonely than ice and snow. Just in this kind of loneliness, Kusa Chiba has already confirmed that this child is Shiro. What's more, he still has the Ice Escape Blood Inheritance limit in his body. I have something to eat. Will you come with me? Kusa Chiba stood in front of the child and asked softly. Bai slowly raised his head and looked at Kusa Chiba's handsome face. A flash of hope flashed in his eyes. Following you, what can I do? Looking at the serious face of this child, Kusa Chiba sighed. For this child, being needed is probably the most important thing to him, right? Seeing Kusa Chiba's silence, Shiro lowered his head sadly. If he can't be needed, what if he has food? Kusa Chiba showed a warm smile, squatted down, reached out and stroked his head and said softly, I want you to follow me, not to make you a tool, nor to ask you to do anything, but to make you become my family. Be my villagers. Do you need me? Bai raised his head and asked stubbornly. The word family is obviously not convincing to Bai. What he cares more about is whether he is needed by others. Kusa Chiba kept smiling and stretched out his arms towards Bai. I need you. I need you to live a good life. I need you to live a happy life. Is this necessary? Bai was confused. He originally thought that Kusa Chiba needed him as a fighting tool, but Kusa Chiba's answer made him feel confused. Momochi Zabuza has been watching all this in silence. For Shiro, in fact, he still has his own softness in his heart. Otherwise, why would he in the original work gather Shiro by his side for no reason? However, Momochi Zabuza in the original work has been escaping from his own feelings. He has always felt that killing is the value of his existence. So naturally Bai was positioned like this. But now, after following Kusa Chiba, Mochizabuza suddenly discovered that his previous value seemed to be wrong. This is also a need. Kusachiba repeated solemnly. Bai shook his head, his heart was touched by Kusachiba. Showing a happy smile, Bai grabbed Kusachiba's hand and said, "Then, I will definitely live a good and happy life." "You must live a good life, a happy life," Kusachiba repeated, took off her windbreaker and put it on him. "My name is Shiro." Shiro looked up at Kusachiba. "I'm Kusachiba." Kusachiba looked down at Shiro. "Then, let's go back to the village now." This time in the Kingdom of Water, the harvest has exceeded Kusachiba's expectations. Along the way, Kusachiba gave Shiro his understanding of ninjutsu, and then Mochizabuza also taught Shiro some of his ninjutsu from the Kingdom of Water. Bai's talent shocked Kusachiba even more. "This guy, I'm afraid it won't take a few years to become a cage-level expert, right?" Kusachiba felt that this white talent could be compared with Konoha Xiaoqiang. By the time he returned to the Grass Ninja Village, high strength had reached the level of Chunin. Nowadays, Kusachiba's reputation is being praised everywhere in the ninja world. When Danzo was killed before, it can also be said that Danzo was killed in the Grass Ninja Village. Kusachiba took advantage of the convenient location of the Grass Ninja Village. But in the Kingdom of Water, Kusachiba majestically killed the fourth generation of the Kingdom of Water, and made the other ninjas of the Kingdom of Water dare not move at all. This kind of strength is a real achievement. Even Hanzo, the leader of Shonen Village who had never looked down upon Kusachiba, finally began to take Kusachiba seriously. This kid has been so impressive in the past 2 years. He has risen so quickly and can even kill cage-level experts head-on. Hanzo is proud of his strength, but right now, he has to pay attention to it. The other party. Kusu Ninja Village has been developing extremely rapidly recently. However, their policies don't seem to be too aggressive. Even as their neighbors, we haven't been harassed too much, a subordinate said respectfully at this time. Another subordinate smiled coldly. Hanzo-sama is the demigod of the ninja world. So what if Kusachiba is strong? Isn't he supposed to be respectful to us? It just so happens that Yahiko and Nagato recently established the Akatsuki organization. Their power has expanded too fast. Why not think of a way to let them come together, and then unite the Kingdom of Earth, the Kingdom of Fire and the Kingdom of Thunder to kill them all? Hanzo smiled cruelly. As a demigod in the ninja world, how could he tolerate others threatening his status? In the original book, the 3 Konins were surrounded and killed by him because they threatened his status. Although he didn't succeed in the end, it also illustrates his ridiculousness well. Nowadays, Kusachiba's Grass Ninja Village has also prospered and developed. Naturally, he will not just watch Kusachiba's growth quietly. Although, Rain Shinobi Village is an ally of Grass Shinobi Village. A good strategy. Many Rain Shinobi Village experts strongly agreed. At the same time, it seemed as if a strong wind had blown through the entire ninja world, and all the ninjas were discussing the power of Kusachiba. The leaders of the Akatsuki organization in Hanzo's mouth, Yahiko, Nagato and Konin, also looked cautious at this time. Although Kusachiba has not revealed much ambition for the time being, he is a decisive person, and he is probably another careerist. Yahiko said with some worry. Konin put forward a different opinion. Although he killed many people, others took the initiative to find him. Even Mizukage, it was Mizukage who first killed the emissary of their Kusanagi village before he was provoked to take action. It seems that he is not a guy who likes to kill people at will. Nagato looked at the two of them, frowned and said, "In any case, find an opportunity to get in touch with him. If possible, it is best to cooperate. He is too powerful, so it is better not to follow him as an enemy. If you can, wouldn't it be better to spread our ideals to him? I'm afraid this guy isn't that easy to talk to, right?" Yahiko muttered. Konin showed a look of yearning. Obviously she was imagining what the man who fought against 4 powerful countries alone looked like. Yes, it was against 4 powerful countries, including the Kingdom of Earth, the Kingdom of Thunder, the Kingdom of Fire and the Kingdom of Water. Among the 5 major countries, except for the Kingdom of Wind, which has good relations with Kusanagi village, the other 4 countries actually have hatred against him. But what happened next shocked all the ninja world. Just a few days after Kusachiba returned to Kusakunin village, the envoy of Kurigakure from the Kingdom of Water came to Kusakunin village with a letter of alliance. We come with the sincerity of Terumi-sama. We are willing to become allies with Kusanagi village. Jonin Ao, who came as an envoy, once logged in the wanted notice of Konoha village, but now, facing Kusachiba, sometimes, he still behaves extremely low-key. He saw with his own eyes how Kusachiba killed Mizukage and shocked the entire Kurigakure. I have received her sincerity. Please tell her that I look forward to meeting her next time. Kusachiba's eyes flashed, but he knew that a storm was brewing. Whether it is the Kingdom of Earth or the Kingdom of Thunder, including the Kingdom of Fire, they cannot simply endure humiliation. It is almost impossible for such a big country to pretend that nothing happened after losing face. Even for Rain Shinobi Village, they probably can't tolerate the rapid development of Kusanagi Village, right? Kusachiba squinted his eyes. I'm afraid these allies will have a great effect. This third Ninja World War has completely changed. And Kusanagi Village has become a real big boss. Kusachiba chuckled. I will definitely convey your greetings. Ao shook his eyelids, feeling really aggrieved. He was a dignified Jonin, and he was still passable as a messenger, but now he was helping Kusachiba and Terumi convey love words. What was going on? Recalling Terumi-Mei's original request, and seeing that Kusachiba seemed to have never forgotten Terumi-Mei, Ching had to bite the bullet and said, Mizukage-sama, please also let me tell you that the ninja world is not peaceful recently, please take care of yourself. This woman, Kusachiba showed a happy smile, nodded and said, okay, I understand. The Kingdom of Water unabashedly formed an alliance with the Grass Ninja Village, which was even more upright than the alliance between the Grass Ninja Village and the Kingdom of Wind. This news made all the ambitious people who were planning the Grass Ninja Village become more vigilant. This actually bought the Grass Ninja Village a few months. In the past few months, the Jonin sent out by Kusachiba have come back one after another. Today, the situation in the ninja world has become much clearer. The real master is the Grass Ninja Village, and in the other ninja villages, no major war has broken out. Under such circumstances, these Jonin naturally lost their attribute points and could only return to Kusanagi Village with regrets. At this time, the attribute points obtained by Kusachiba have raised his sage body skills to the peak of Kage level. As for the current strength of the Grass Ninja Village, Kusachiba, in addition to leaving some attribute points for his subordinates to use as a quick recovery, has allowed the number of masters in the Grass Ninja Village to reach its peak again. 6 elite Jonin, 20 Jonin, plus a dozen Chunin, and more than 60 Genin, this is all the current strength of our Kusanagi Village. Kusatake sat in front of Kusachiba. He looked at the man in front of him with admiration. Although it can't be compared with those top powers, it's not bad. Kusachiba nodded gently, and was about to give instructions on the next stage of development plan when the envoy from Rain Shinobi Village finally arrived at Kusanobi Village. Now that the ninja world has gradually become peaceful, as the demigod of the ninja world, Master Hanzo wants to quell this third ninja war. Therefore, Master Kusachiba is also requested to participate in the 6th Ninja War in Rain Shinobi Village on time in 3 months. Shadow Talks. Originally, the 5 village chiefs of the 5 major countries were called shadows, but now there is an extra shadow. Naturally, it is Jay Chiba. This is also the recognition of the 10 strengths of Chiba by the ninja world. Kusachiba squinted his eyes, but he didn't care about the recognition of himself by the ninja world. Instead, he felt funny about his neighbor's tone. Hanzo of the Salamander, who was complimented as a demigod of the ninja world, really thought that he was the demigod of the ninja world. He actually wanted to mediate this time's ninja world war. He thought those 5 ninja villages would listen to his mediation. Kusachiba sneered in his heart. No, I'm afraid this guy wants to take this opportunity to increase his prestige. After all, convening the 6 Shadows Conference is a very face-saving thing. And he wants to let the Land of Fire, the Land of Earth and the Land of Thunder, if the country recognizes him, he will definitely turn his heart to these 3 countries. Kionshins. Tell Hanzo, I will be there in 3 months. The more the enemy uses tactics, the more heroic Kusachiba becomes. So what if you use tactics? As long as you are strong, why should you be afraid of the enemy's machinations? The same news was also sent to the hands of Conan and the others. It happened that Conan and the others also wanted to meet and discuss with Kusachiba, so they agreed without hesitation. Mr. Village Chief, are we going to have a meeting with them in 3 months? Do we need to make some preparations? Kusatake frowned, feeling that this time the Six Shadows meeting was really not simple. Kusachiba also looked cautious. This meeting is really not simple. Let me think about it carefully before talking. Rain Shinobi Village has put a lot of effort into the Six-Cage Conference this time, right? When Kusachiba took Sotaki onto the land of Rain Shinobi Village, Sotaki couldn't help but sigh. As far as the eye can see, there are lights and colorful decorations everywhere. The small Rain Shinobi Village is as festive as the New Year. Ha ha ha, our Rain Shinobi Village has a strong prestige. If not, how could the Six Shadows Conference be held? Humph, this bullshit talk of Six Shadows. There are only 5 shadows in this world. I haven't heard who the 6th shadow is. Shish, be careful, it would be terrible if people from the Grass Ninja Village hear this. Humph, what's so big? We are from Rain Shinobi Village. Today, we are the masters. A rather muscular man was about to boast, but he saw 2 ninjas in their teens were having fun. Walking in the village of Ninja. Not far behind these 2 men, there was a group of tall ninjas, wearing the same style of clothes and forehead support. Kusachiba. Another person was so frightened that he couldn't speak at this time, but the rather muscular man who wanted to boast so much before was so frightened that his legs became weak. Kusachiba chuckled, glanced at the Rain Shinobi Village villager who was bragging, and led Kusatake towards the mayor's office of Rain Shinobi Village. Am I not dazzled? Those 2 child-looking ninjas just now. They must be the legends of the ninja world, Kusachiba and Kusatake with cage-level strength. So Kusachiba is so handsome. He just glanced at me. Ha ha ha, Mr. Kusachiba just passed by me and gave me a warm smile. I'm going to be drunk, his smile is so sweet and warm. Many women in Rain Shinobi Village held their hearts in their hands and looked at Kusachiba's back with intoxication. Kusachiba's reputation is only for men. For many women, what they care more about is Kusachiba's unrivaled beauty. BDDE, this was something that even the blades of grass had not expected. At this time, he brought the elite of his Kusanagi village to the center of Rain Shinobi Village boldly and grandiosely. Here, people from Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village have already arrived. As for the biggest names, Konoha Village from the land of fire and Sunagakur from the land of wind, they have not arrived yet. As for the Kingdom of Water, because they are the farthest away, they have not arrived yet and it is still expected. HMPH. Seeing Kusachiba come to Rain Shinobi Village, Tsuchikage Onoki snorted coldly, and Brick didn't look at Kusachiba. In any case, Onoki still remembers the loss he suffered in Kusakunin Village. Onoki, who was not very open-minded to begin with, was now very angry when he saw Kusachiba. Kusachiba smiled and ignored Onoki, just smiled and nodded at the man standing in the center. This man wears a ninja gear and is always guarded by 4 elite ninjas. At first glance, he is a typical example of greed for life and fear of death. In Rain Shinobi Village, the only person who is so cautious is Hanzo of the Salamander. You seem to be a little timid. You came to my Rain Shinobi Village and brought so many guards. Hanzo of the Salamander sneered at this time, raised his chin and said disdainfully to the Jonin behind Chiba. Kusachiba laughed. Are you timid? This is a common problem among us superiors, isn't it? Hanzo. What's more, now we have stepped into other people's places. It's okay if they don't have bad intentions towards me. If they do, it's always good to prepare more people to harm me. What does Hanzo think? Hanzo of the Salamander looked around at his guards, snorted coldly and stopped talking. Instead, it was Tsuchikage who sneered and said, "Ha, despicable villain. Do you think everyone is as despicable as you? Hanzo is so virtuous and respected, do you think he will be like you, planting explosive symbols and then taking the opportunity to kill the enemy? You old guy, you are so shameless. You 2 coalition forces are attacking our Kusanagi village. Are you not allowing us to fight back? What's wrong with using explosive charms? We are also defending ourselves." Kusotaki couldn't help but stand. When he came out, he said to Tsuchikage Dasagwo, "You are such a shy turtle, how dare you follow me and fight openly? Nobody. If anyone can fight with me, Tsuchikage, then wouldn't I have to deal with challenges every day? I don't have to do anything anymore." Tsuchikage sneered and shook his head, rejecting Kusataki's challenge unceremoniously. Tsuchikage knew clearly that Kusatake used a strange set of ninja tools to make the power of his chakra reach cage level. In addition, Kusatake was originally a genius, and his understanding of ninjutsu and fighting was very good. Stronger than ordinary people. In the last battle, he could see that this boy's strength could be compared with that of a veteran cage-level strongman. In this case, Tsuchikage naturally did not dare to follow Kusatake in a duel here. He is a rock shinobi village Tsuchikage. It would be a bit embarrassing if he were on par with Kusatake. Hokage also had the same idea. Although he felt resentful about being defeated by Kusachiba, he could only snort at this time and would not personally teach Kusachiba or Kusatake a lesson. You shameless old thief. Coward. Kusatake spat and made an insulting gesture, trying to provoke Tsuchikage into taking action. You little brat, why do you always want to fight and kill? It's not good to fight and kill too much. The world is so beautiful, why can't we sit down and discuss it carefully? Conan tilted his head. Conan wears a black trench coat embroidered with red clouds and is a member of the Akatsuki organization. His hair color is light blue-purple, his eye color is light orange, he wears a lavender paper flower on the right side of his head, purple eye shadow, and a lip nails. On the left and right sides of Conan are a young man with red hair and a young man with orange hair. Kusachiba's eyes passed over these three people, and the names of these three people popped up in his heart instantly. Sure enough, has the Akatsuki organization been invited to participate in this meeting? I'm afraid they just want to use the Akatsuki organization to fight against us. Kusachiba knew clearly in his heart that Hanzo was ridiculous. In the original work, he was afraid that Yahiko's reputation would be too high, so he took away his control of Rain Shinobi Village, and finally designed a trick to kill Yahiko. And now, Hanzo has brought over the three leaders of the Akatsuki organization. If he says that he just wants them to participate in mediating the so-called Third Ninja War, Kusachiba will not believe it at all. You are the leader of this brat, right? Why don't you just leave him alone? Conan didn't want to argue with Kusatake, so she walked over to Kusachiba, looked at Kusachiba and asked. Kusachiba glanced at Hanzo, Tsuchikage and others who were waiting to watch the show, wondering in his heart that they might not know how to slander him in front of the Akatsuki organization. He's not wrong. Why should I care about him? Kusachiba raised his eyebrows and responded indifferently. Conan was a little shocked. She didn't expect Kusachiba to answer her like this. But, this world is originally peaceful. If there is a battle because of what he just said, wouldn't it become imperfect? Conan has already regarded Kusachiba's grass ninja village as a person who likes fighting, creator of violence. Fight, fight. Kusatake didn't think so much about Kusachiba, and he subconsciously wanted to defend himself. Kusachiba gently raised his hand to stop Kusatake, and then said calmly, "This world was originally peaceful. We also hope to be peaceful. However, some people don't think so. Just half a year ago, they did not hesitate to gather an army. The expedition will also destroy our grass ninja village. You must know about this, right? HMPH. Isn't it because you went to the Kingdom of Iron to kill the ninjas we went to the ninja village?" The movie loudly interrupted Conan's thinking. You see, some people always want to distort the facts and then find some groundless things to start a war. Kusachiba showed a disdainful smile. He watched the movie and then looked at Conan and said, "But no matter what, every time I come here, I do it with sincerity. As long as no one deliberately causes trouble, peace will surely come." Ha 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 ha. What the mayor of Kusachiba said is good. Everyone came here just to seek peace. Why do you need to get into such a tense situation? Everyone, please sit down and have a cup of tea. Hanzo narrowed his eyes and interrupted Conan. After thinking about it, he was unwilling to let Kusachiba and Conan communicate more, otherwise the secret might be exposed. Kusachiba shrugged noncommittally, showed a warm smile, and walked into the Rain Shinobi Village office with Kusatake. This office has been magnificently decorated, with a wide conference table in the center and 6 high-backed chairs around the table. In front of each chair, there is a sign. In the middle is Rain Shinobi Village. From the left of Rain Shinobi Village, it reads, Konoha Village, Rock Shinobi Village, Cloud Shinobi Village. From the left, it reads, Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Kusanobi Village. The Akatsuki organization is located next to Cloud Shinobi Village, which corresponds to the Writing Village. Seeing that the grass ninja village was ranked last, how could Kusachiba not know that Hanzo still looked down upon his own grass ninja village? Look down on it. Kusachiba showed a faint smile, and after taking a casual look, he sat on the chair behind the sign with the words, Kusa Ninja Village. This ridiculous Hanzo actually dragged the Akatsuki organization into trouble. Then, don't blame me for being rude. Kusachiba sat in his seat, looking at the Konan trio who still looked innocent, but in his heart a sigh. Kusachiba strongly agrees with the combat effectiveness of the Akatsuki organization. In this case, Kusachiba doesn't mind bringing the Akatsuki organization into his arms when everyone has a common purpose. The only worry is whether the Akatsuki organization will see the hypocrisy of this world. Kusachiba glanced at Tsuchikage Onoki, Reikage and others. At this time, these old people were sitting in their seats with the presence of the old gods, whispering and laughing from time to time. Kusachiba sat in his seat, clasping his hands and fingers together, propping his chin, his eyes dull, thinking about something. Konan, who had been paying attention to Kusachiba, was a little confused at this time. This man doesn't seem to like war that much. On the contrary, he seems to be just a quiet handsome man. Kusachiba and others had just sat down when the Kurigakure master from the Land of Water had already arrived in the conference room under the leadership of Terumi Mei. She glanced at the arrangement in the conference room, covered her mouth and chuckled, and then ordered, place the location of our country of wind next to Mr. Chiba. Hanzo was stunned. This beauty didn't follow the routine at all. Ahem, I'm afraid this is Terumi Mei-sama who just succeeded Mizukage, right? The seats for the Six Shadows conference are all arranged after careful consideration. If Terumi Mei-sama wants to change the position at will, it will be a bit nonsense. Hanzo knitted his brows into knots. Terumi Mei ignored Hanzo and sat on the left side of Kusachiba with a scent of fragrance. If it weren't for Kusachiba-sama attending this meeting, I wouldn't have come to this place. It's been raining all day and it's so wet. It's so annoying. Terumi Mei smiled coquettishly, and Chiba spoke softly. Kusachiba looked at the aura that Terumi Mei had mastered, nodded gently and said, it's true, although Mist Shinobi Village is on an island, it is much better than Rain Shinobi Village. After coming here, I feel like uncomfortable. Konan tilted his head, looking at Terumi Mei inserting himself in Kusachiba so forcefully, feeling unhappy for some reason. However, Konan is naturally calm, and will not deliberately argue about anything. She just felt a little surprised in her heart. Didn't you say that Kusachiba just killed Kurigakure's shadow? Why is it that this newly succeeded Kurigakure's shadow not only has no hatred towards Kusachiba, but also looks like they are lovers? Quote. Hanzo's face was dark. He did not expect that this Terumi Mei would not give him any face at all. Originally, he thought that he could hold this meeting of the Six Shadows, and his reputation would be recognized by others. 100 million. Hanzo had a dark face. Now he understands that in the eyes of some people, he is probably just a clown. Very good. It seems that you Kurigakure are also with Kusachiba's grass ninja village. Then don't blame me for destroying you when the time comes. Hanzo took a deep breath, but in his heart, it was for Terumi Mei they were also sentenced to death. Soon, people from the Land of Sand also came to Rain Shinobi Village. The third Kazekage had been killed by the Red Sand Scorpion. It was precisely because of this incident that the Third Ninja War broke out. Although the Great Ninja War is coming to an end, Sunagakure still has not truly established the next generation of Kage. At present, things in the Kingdom of Wind are still temporarily handled by Chi and Granny. Grandma Chio had a good temper, but she only nodded politely to the half-667, but she looked kindly towards Kusachiba. Our Sunagakure's Baki is still practicing in the Grass Ninja Village, right? I really didn't expect that an exchange of interests with the Grass Ninja Village would turn out to be the biggest opportunity for change for our Sunagakure. Now the entire ninja world is praising you. How powerful, and many of us in Sunagakure are looking forward to how powerful Baki will be after his return. Granny Chio chuckled and talked to Kusachiba. Sunagakure, he also helped us a lot. If it weren't for San Shukaku, I'm afraid our Kusanagi village wouldn't have been able to resist that time. Kusachiba looked at Tsuchikage and Reikage with a half-smile. Seeing Kusachiba trying to get everything going, Tsuchikage and Reikage realized at this time that Kusachiba's power was already very powerful. His allies included Sunagakure and Kurigakure, two powerful beings among the 5 major countries, plus Kusachiba's own strength. At this moment, Tsuchikage and Hokage realized that it would not be so easy for them to get easy rewards. One thing. At this time, 3rd Hokage finally entered the conference room with the most elite experts in Konoha village. Kusachiba squinted his eyes and looked at the old man from the 3rd generation. Needless to say, Sarutobi Hiruzen from the 3rd generation. The master behind Sarutobi Hiruzen made Kusachiba unable to help but click his tongue. The blonde-haired one is the Konoha Shine who went on the mission with me, the 3rd generation's disciple, Namikaze Minato. His strength is also the top among Kage level. Kusachiba whispered to Kusatake explained. Behind Namikaze Minato is his apprentice. Although he is young, he is already Jonin's Hatake Kakashi, the son of Hatake Tsukumo. Hatake Kakashi's strength is not bad at all. Moreover, he also has a Sharingan. Beside Namikaze Minato is Sanin, you must have seen it. And to the right of 3rd Hokage are the 3 masters of Pig Butterfly Deer and the Blue Beast Might Guy. The one at the end is Konoha's famous Hyuga Hiyashi, the master of the Byakugan Hyuga clan. Kusachiba casually followed the introduction of his subordinates, because these people are all masters. They may be Jonin in strength, but their threat level can definitely reach Kage level. Just when Kusachiba introduced these people to his men, 3rd Hokage also snorted coldly and sat next to Hanzo of the Salamander with a touch of hatred. Now that everyone is here, let's get started. Hanzo of the Salamander could no longer shout at this time. Among the people present, Konoha Sanin, whom he had barely defeated, was also photographed at the end. In terms of position, he, the former demigod of the ninja world, is naturally nothing. The purpose of this meeting is very clear to everyone. Our ninja world has been at war for more than 10 years. Hanzo of the Salamander stood up, enjoying the power he had gained. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have the patience to listen to his nonsense at this time. Sarutobi Hiruzen slapped the table and interrupted Hanzo of the Salamander's nonsense in a cold voice. Humph, we are not here for the so-called talk. We want to ask for an explanation. Kusachiba, you killed the root leader of our Konoha village. It's time to settle this account. Without being an enemy of the entire ninja world, Sarutobi Hiruzen now has enough confidence to fight against Kusachiba. If Konoha village plus Cloud Shinobi village and Rock Shinobi village can't clean up a small grass ninja village, Lousy can go hit the wall and commit suicide. The 3rd generation looked at Kusachiba with a sneer. If the strength is insufficient, 3rd generation will also use tactics, even at the expense of many companions and even themselves. But now that he is strong enough, he naturally won't think about some messy things. Song was thinking about how to take revenge. Hanzo laughed dryly. He was furious about the 3rd generation's purpose. Although he was happy to see it succeed, he was also annoyed in his heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you don't give me face like this. Ha, don't think about me helping you. Hanzo suppressed his anger and sat down slowly. His original plan to manipulate the 5 great ninja villages into applause went bankrupt at the beginning. Looking at Hanzo's ridiculous clown-like appearance, Kusachiba shook his head disdainfully, and he warned Kusatake, did you see it? In this world, strength is always respected. If you have strength, you are the master. If you don't have strength, you are the master. You can only pretend to be a grandson. If you don't have the strength and still want to pretend to be an uncle, then you will become a real grandson. Although Kusachiba was talking to Kusatake, anyone with a discerning eye would know that he was scolding Hanzo. Poor Hanzo is a veteran in the ninja world, but now he is being scolded by Kusachiba, but he doesn't have the courage to get angry. He became the most marginalized person in the 6 Shadows conference that he single-handedly facilitated. 3rd generation ignored Kusachiba's accusations. He slapped the conference table with palms, smashing the table into pieces. Kusachiba, if you don't give me an explanation today, everyone in your Kusanagi village will be dead. Don't even think about walking out of this door. The conference table shattered, dust spread everywhere, and the entire conference room became filled with smoke. Swish, swish, swish. Almost instantly, all the shadow guards stood up and stood in front of his own shadow. This action of 3rd generation's purpose made them think that a battle was about to break out. Kusatake, Shiro, stand down. Kusachiba smiled softly, not caring about Sarutobi Hiruzen's movements. Sir, this old guy. Kusatake looked worried. Kusachiba looked at Kusatake calmly, and Kusatake lowered his head and retreated to Kusachiba's side. Don't forget the reason why we are gathered here. We are here to solve the problem and restore peace to the world. Sure enough, Konan stood up, her face full of compassion, and she was not afraid of Sarutobi Hiruzen's terrifying words. Power. I came here just to solve the problem. Therefore, killing the ninjas in the Kusunan village will solve the problem. After all, allowing this dangerous organization of the Kusunan village to exist is itself a factor that makes the world unpeaceful. Sarutobi Hiruzen said unceremoniously. That's right, the existence of Grass Ninja Village is originally a threat to peace. Even he himself has killed countless ninjas with his own hands. Do you want such an evil organization to continue to exist? Tsuchikage also sneered. Stood up. There was a slight smile on the corner of Kusachiba's mouth. Although Konoha Village's performance was extremely strong, the more relaxed Kusachiba felt. Because, only in this way can the Akatsuki organization be on our side. You know, the Akatsuki organization is not the kind of organization that compromises in exchange for peace. They really want to use their own strength to exchange for peace. Organization. The more you do this, the more the Akatsuki organization will be on my side. Kusachiba squinted his eyes, feeling calm and unhurried, and was about to make his men anxious. You are talking nonsense. We, Kusanobi Village, are living our lives well. If it weren't for the war between Rock Shinobi Village and Konoha Village that involved us, how would we have needed to fight? Kusotake stood up angrily. Pointing at Tsuchikage's broken nose, he cursed. Is this your sincerity this time? Konan's cold voice echoed in the conference room. With a smile on her lips, Kusachiba pulled Terumime and continued to sit down. There are free thugs available, so Kusachiba will not be foolish enough to do it on his own. Ha ha ha. Sincerity. Innocent little girl, are you still living in a dream? Want sincerity? Then, I will give you sincerity. Sarutobi Hiruzen burst out with a terrifying aura. At this moment, as the strongest, the power of cage-level experts is undoubtedly explosive. Although his ninjutsu may still be restrained, the power of his chakra is unmatched by others. How could you do this? Konan's pretty face turned red with anger, and Nagato and Yahiko beside her also had indignant looks on their faces. These politicians. They clenched their fists tightly, wishing they could punch those hateful old faces with their own hands. Seeing that the fire was almost done, Kusachiba stood up slowly and said, Friends, please relax. These people who play politics have dirty hearts. To reason with them, it is better to let sows learn to climb trees. You know, the only thing that can make them bow is their fists. Sarutobi Hiruzen squinted his eyes and looked at Kusachiba carefully. He had been in this conference room for a while, and he tried his best to show his anger, but Kusachiba's always tepid attitude made Sarutobi Hiruzen a little more afraid of Kusachiba. As expected, he is indeed a strong man who can kill Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Kusachiba's handsome face and couldn't help but start to think about whether his strength was enough this time. 2 cage-level strong men have arrived in Kusanagi Village, and Sunagakur and Kurigakure, although they are allies of Kusanagi Village, in a situation involving a life-and-death battle, they will definitely not risk their lives to help Kusachiba. Even if it's a move, Sunagakur is gone, and Kurigakure only has one Terumime as a cage-level strongman. Tsuchikage and Reikage looked at each other and mentally repeated the information analyzed by Hanzo of the Salamander. After all, can't we avoid war? Konan drooped his head in frustration. Nagato and Yahiko also pursed their lips, looking unwilling. They came here just for peace. Who knew that Konoha Village didn't have this idea at all? War, of course, if you can avoid it, avoid it. So, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. Let's have an upright contest. 5 versus 5, we will have 5 people on each side, and we will fight for 5 rounds. Each victory will be 1 round. You can make a request to the loser. And the loser must meet the winner's request. Sarutobi Hiruzen stared at Kusachiba and asked softly, how? 5 on 5. Kusachiba looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen playfully, and then at Tsuchikage and the movie who had a sneer on his face. He already fully understood the other party's plan. I'm afraid they just proposed 5 versus 5 because they have 5 cage-level experts, right? Kusachiba squinted his eyes and glanced at Sarutobi Hiruzen, Onoki, Reikage, Namikaze Minato and Sanshoyu Han. Although Hanzo of the Salamander still looked indignant at this time, Kusachiba had already seen through their plan like a mirror in his heart. From the moment he walked in, this Sarutobi Hiruzen was acting with Hanzo, making Chiba think that the relationship between them was ordinary. Then the method of this duel was proposed, making Kusachiba think that they only had 4 Kage-level experts. In this way, Kusachiba can guarantee 1 victory by himself, and together with Terumi Mei, he can guarantee 2 wins. In addition, Kusataki is also a Kage-level strongman, and the other elite ninjas, it seems that they can win as long as they give it a try. Yes, 5 versus 5. If you win 1 game, you can put forward a condition. This can be regarded as reducing the scope of the war to the minimum. Little girl, our approach should be okay, right? Tsuchikage looked at it with a kind face. Conan asked. Kusachiba, do you dare to fight? This is the best way to quell the war. Are you too timid to agree? Tsuchikage turned to look at Kusachiba and asked using the provoking method. Hanzo of the Salamander stood up, still pretending to be a good person. It's really not good to fight and kill like this. Can't everyone sit down and discuss it carefully? Hanzo, don't say any more. The impact of the woo-woo battle has been minimized. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Nagato and the other 3 set their sights on Kusachiba. Although I vaguely felt that the duel proposed by Sarutobi Hiruzen would not be that simple, I still put my hope in Kusachiba at this time. 5 versus 5, yes. Why don't you agree? Kusachiba squinted his eyes and nodded playfully. Then, which one of you is willing to fight in the first battle? 5 versus 5, whoever steps forward first will naturally be at a disadvantage. After all, one's own side can choose to restrain the opponent's manpower and go into battle. But seeing Kusachiba agree to the duel, both Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hanzo were in ecstasy. Why did they care about the advantages and disadvantages? This time, they want Kusachiba to be completely defeated. 5 versus 5, whether it's Tsuchikage, Reikage, Hokage, or even Hanzo, it's not that easy to defeat. In this battle, I want the Kusakunin village to be expelled. Sarutobi Hiruzen made an analysis in his mind, and stood up with his head held high. Kusachiba, I've heard about your power a long time ago, but I didn't know. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Kusachiba intently. The corners of Kusachiba's mouth curled up slightly, but he didn't want to pay attention to this guy. He turned his head and looked at Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei came out with a smile. In the first battle, how can you let the strongest one take action? Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are the Grand Master of the 5 Chakra Attribute Ninjutsu, and you enjoy the title of Ninjutsu Professor. Why don't you teach me how to use water style? Terumi Mei. Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted, okay. Then let me see the strength of the 4th Mizukage. Hanzo of the Salamander stood aside with a sneer at this time, secretly calculating in his heart. Sarutobi Hiruzen, as the former top master in the ninja world, he must be a sure shot against this Terumi Mei. Then the remaining one is Kusachiba. The bones you nod will become garbage afterward. When this Sarutobi Hiruzen defeats Terumi Mei, then I will challenge Kusachiba. As long as I can defeat Kusachiba, I will definitely gain terrifying prestige. A flash of greed flashed in Hanzo of the Salamander's heart. Who is Terumi Mei? I've never heard of it. She is very beautiful, but her strength is a bit lacking. Kusachiba is also serious. She actually lets such a beauty come out to fight. Humph, it's really ridiculous. The Kingdom of Water is really coming back more and more, and it actually allowed such a woman to become a shadow. At this time, the other ninjas were all talking quietly. In their hearts, Terumi Mei had no chance of winning anyway. You know nothing about real power. Kusachiba looked at the ridiculous looks of these people and shook his head slightly. Water-style Water Dragon Bomb. Terumi Mei did not hesitate, quickly formed seals with both hands, and the large-scale Water Dragon Bomb instantly covered the position where Sarutobi Hiruzen was standing. It's such a large-scale ninjutsu from the beginning. Terumi Mei, your use of chakra is really wasted. Sarutobi Hiruzen is much more sophisticated. He has not even summoned his summoning beast, but has already prepared the body. Replacement technique. Seeing Terumi Mei use this large-scale ninjutsu, just use a small amount of chakra to resist Terumi Mei's attack. The overwhelming water dragon bomb instantly killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, but as everyone expected, what was killed was just a piece of wood. Sarutobi Hiruzen, at this time, was standing behind Terumi-Mei, looking at Terumi-Mei with a relaxed expression. Summoning technique Ape King Ape Demon. Sarutobi Hiruzen summoned his summoning beast in a hurry. The monkey demon also appeared beside Sarutobi Hiruzen calmly. Sarutobi Hiruzen, long time no see. Quote. Old friend, long time no see. This time, let's teach the children a lesson together. Sarutobi Hiruzen chuckled, seemingly not paying attention to the current battle at all. Terumi-Mei wasted AB level ninjutsu, but she was not angry at all. She smiled softly, holding the shuriken in her hand, and finally paid attention to the current battle. Water-style mist shinobi technique. A thick mist instantly enveloped the entire Rain Shinobi Village square. Rain Shinobi Village is a place suitable for Mizukage battles. Water elements are everywhere here. On the contrary, Hokage, if he wants to exert his full strength in this place, has to consume more chakra. The drizzle combined with the mist shinobi technique at this time made even Elite Jonin lose his vision in an instant. What a terrifying mist shinobi technique. Momochi Zabuza's eyes flashed with astonishment. He had never thought that this Mizukage, who had always been secretive, would have such profound knowledge of ninjutsu. I thought she became Mizukage with the power of boil style and lava style, but now it seems that she has underestimated him. Momochi Zabuza whispered softly. Even Mochi Zabuza was so shocked, and the other ninjas were even more frightened at this time. Why can't I see anything? What's going on? Why is the range of this ninjutsu so wide? What does Terumi-Mei want? Does he want to attack all of us? The ninjas in Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village were a little panicked at this time. In this thick fog, they only felt extremely panic. This was the fear of mist shinobi technique. Even the murderous Jonin will subconsciously feel panic. In the thick fog, Kusachiba could clearly feel how thrilling and terrifying the battle between Terumi-Mei and Sarutobi Hiruzen was at this time. There were dense sounds of chakra explosions and physical collisions in the air. Every time these sounds sounded, it meant the most exquisite fight between cage-level experts. Body replacement technique. Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice just came, and there was a sound of beheading. Kusachiba knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen might have used the body replacement technique to resist Terumi-Mei's beheading. Body flicker technique. Terumi-Mei's voice, followed by a piercing sound in the air. Fire-style function fire technique. Is like a meteor bursting out, piercing everyone's eyes. Water-style waterfall technique. A waterfall fell from the sky and extinguished the meteor in an instant. Wood-style great fireball technique. A great fireball instantly appeared in everyone's eyes, like a sun. Earth-style wall. A rumbling sound came, and the fireball like the sun was extinguished directly. This Sarutobi Hiruzen, he always uses the least amount of chakra to fight. On the contrary, Terumi-Mei is always opening and closing. All the ninjutsu are at your fingertips, and you can use them however you want. Granny Chio frowned slowly. Get up and whisper. Kusachiba chuckled. Grandma Chio, please don't worry, Terumi-Mei has her own fighting style. Sarutobi Hiruzen has rich fighting experience, but this time, maybe he can suffer. Sure enough, at this moment, Terumi-Mei's deep voice came instantly, boil-style Chaolu technique. Almost instantly, everyone felt a kind of burning heat, erupting from the thick fog. Boil style. No, old man, King Kong prison wall. Sarutobi Hiruzen's originally calm voice suddenly became a little panicked. However, it was too late. Even the King Kong prison wall only lasted less than 10 seconds before disappearing with a bang. Terumi-Mei cancelled mist shinobi technique, and then cancelled boil-style Chaolu technique, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a sweet smile on her face. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was extremely ugly. He stood there in a state of embarrassment. I was careless. Terumi-Mei, I didn't expect your boil style to be so powerful. Next time, I won't be so lucky. What? The third Hokage was defeated. How is this possible? What exactly happened? This woman Terumi-Mei actually defeated Sarutobi Hiruzen. Shish, be careful, this is Lord 5th Mizukage. All ninjas, whether they believed it or not, had to change their views on Terumi-Mei. Terumi-Mei, however, didn't care about the opinions of others at all. She smiled softly and sat next to Kusachiba with a scent of fragrance. She looked at Kusachiba flatteringly and asked, "How is it? I helped you win the first game." Quote. Kusachiba smiled gently, "Thank you. So, in the first round, the Kusakunin village side wins." Hanzo of the Salamander was the most surprised, but he had to declare Terumi Yan's victory. "In the second game, who are you going to fight?" Hanzo of the Salamander turned his attention to Kusachiba and sneered in his heart. "It's opportunistic to use it once, but it's difficult to use it a second time and a third time. This time, I'll see how you can use attribute restraint to fight against the strong ones on our side." Not only Hanzo of the Salamander, but also Tsuchikage and Raikage, there was also a sneer in my heart. In their opinion, Terumi Mei's boil style just now is indeed powerful, but the natural attribute restraint of fire and water is the main reason why Terumi Mei can always be relaxed and composed. Otherwise, with Sarutobi Hiruzen's sophistication, Terumi Mei would not be able to win. But now, Kusachiba takes the lead, so there is no problem of attributes being restrained. The rest of the Jonin, including the ordinary ninjas in Rain Shinobi Village, still couldn't calm down their shock for a long time. But now, there is a more exciting battle about to begin, so they have forgotten the shock just now. The battle just now is certainly exciting, but it all happened in the thick fog, and we couldn't see anything. I hope we can enjoy the next battle. Yes, I hope we can watch the next battle. This is a battle between cage-level experts. Ordinary people will never have the chance to see it in their lifetime, right? Many genin or ordinary people in Rain Shinobi Village were excitedly surrounding the square, unable to hide their excitement in their eyes. Not only these ninjas from Rain Shinobi Village, but also the elite ninjas from Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village all looked forward to it. It is rare for them to see a battle between cage-level experts. Second battle. Kusachiba frowned and thought for a moment. What? In the second battle, the village chief of Kusachiba doesn't know who to send. If you don't mind, how about letting me, Hanzo of the Salamander, fight against the village chief of Kusachiba? Hanzo of the Salamander was filled with ambition. Sarutobi Hiruzen just failed, and his reputation fell to Kusachiba's side. Now if I can defeat Kusachiba, then he can restore this side's decline, and naturally gain powerful prestige. The wishful thinking in Hanzo of the Salamander's heart is crackling. Kusachiba looked at Hanzo of the Salamander with disdain, shook his head disdainfully and said, "To deal with you. You are such a sinister villain, you are not worthy of me personally taking action." Chapter 91. Kusachiba, you are asking for your own death. Hanzo's old face darkened, he suppressed the anger in his heart, pointed his shuriken at Kusachiba and said coldly, "Then, let me see if your strength is it's worthy of your rotten mouth." "Haha, I told you. You are not worthy of me taking action." Kusachiba set his sights on Nagato. Nagato stood up slowly. "Nagato, as a former Rain Shinobi Village ninja, you actually want to be my enemy today?" Hanzo looked at Nagato in shock. "What we need is peace. Not war, but here today, what I see is just your aggressiveness. Hanzo, maybe we shouldn't believe you from the beginning, and believe that you are actually willing to bring peace. You just want to destroy Rain Shinobi Village, and we will never be your helpers." Nagato clenched his fists and slowly raised his head. The breeze blows, Nagato's orange hair is particularly chewy. "I'm sorry, master." Nagato cupped his hands in Sanin's direction. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was so black that he could drip with ink. "Jiraiya." Jiraiya lowered his head in embarrassment. He never imagined that the apprentice he trained would one day stand on his opposite side. "So, this is a battle between us. Hanzo, if you are still the mayor of Rain Shinobi Village, stand up for me." Nagato glared at Hanzo's hesitant look and said irritatingly, "Ha ha ha, very good, very good. Nagato, you traitor to Rain Shinobi Village. I was going to kill you traitors who betrayed Rain Shinobi Village, but now you have come to my door yourself. Then don't it's my fault for being rude." Hanzo took a deep breath, and a fierce aura appeared out of thin air, Jianling technique poisonous Sanchi fish. Boom. In the eyes of all the Rain Shinobi Village ninjas with great admiration, a giant gray-brown Sancho fish suddenly appeared in the center of the square. This mountain pepper fish is at least 10 meters tall, extremely huge, and its entire body is filled with a large amount of poison. As the poisonous mist spread, All the ninjas who were close to him immediately covered their necks in pain and suffocated to the ground. Traitor! Now, accept the punishment of death. Hanzo laughed. Boom! Heavy rain is coming. This huge poisonous Sancho fish roared up to the sky, and clouds of black poisonous mist spurted out from his mouth and rushed towards Nagato. Get out of here quickly. This is Hanzo-sama's summoned beast. All the Rain Shinobi Village ninjas exclaimed at this time, dragging their suffocating companions and quickly leaving the square. Even the ninjas from Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village had to withdraw from the attack range of the poisonous Sancho fish. These elite ninjas can resist this poison, but it is obviously not cost-effective to waste their chakra for no reason. Jiraiya looked at the Sancho fish, and a flash of memory appeared on his face. This is Hanzo's strongest summoning beast. The toxin of this Sancho fish is really terrifying. Yes, after so many years, we still don't know if we can defeat Hanzo who possesses the poisonous Sancho fish. Orochimaru licked his lips. Apparently, his mind was not on how to defeat the opponent, but on what pervert he was thinking about. Matter. The toxins from the Sancho fish rushed towards Nagato like crazy, but Nagato remained indifferent. For ordinary ninjas, they may need to use a gas mask to resist this kind of poison, but Nagato doesn't need it at all. His Rinnegan combined with the physique of the Uzumaki clan gives him godlike recovery abilities. As long as he doesn't suffer a fatal blow, he can recover quickly. For Nagato, this toxin is just an itch. No wonder this guy has the courage to fight against Hanzo. It turns out that he can withstand Hanzo's Sancho toxin. Tsuchikage couldn't help but frown. They had already lost the first battle. If they also lost the second battle, it would be terrible. That's not good. Raikage looked at Nagato keenly and said calmly, "You know, Hanzo's taijutsu is equally powerful. Whether this young man can withstand it is still unknown. I'm afraid it's not that simple to be valued by Kusachiba." Sarutobi Hiruzen was now deeply aware of Kusachiba's terrifying calculation ability. From the first battle to this second battle, it seemed that they were all in Kusachiba's calculations or average. In this case, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't pay much attention to the second game now. Let's focus on the third battle. We can't lose the third battle. Sarutobi Hiruzen set his sights on Namikaze Minato. Your Flying Thunder God technique is the only hope to defeat him. Namikaze Minato nodded slightly and said, I also want to see how far his strength has improved after not seeing him for so long. While the two men were discussing, the battle between Nagato and Hanzo had indeed begun to go towards the side that Tsuchikage and Raikage did not want. These eyes. Is this a Rinnegan? Oh my god, are they the eyes of the legendary Sage of Six Paths? This young man actually. When Nagato revealed Rinnegan, everyone was shocked. Although Hanzo is powerful, when he faces Nagato, he is naturally restrained. When Hanzo failed, even if Tsuchikage and Raikage were unwilling, they had to accept this fact. Hanzo's face turned purple and he was extremely ashamed. I have been careful all my life, so why did I stumble in the hands of this kid? You kid, you must have been ready to use Nagato to deal with me from the beginning. Hanzo inadvertently saw Kusachiba's calm look, and felt a surge of emotion in his heart. Horrified. Nowadays, almost all cage-level experts have seen the horror of Kusachiba's calculations. It was originally a meeting between Hanzo and the three major powers of Konoha Village, Rock Shinobi Village and Cloud Shinobi Village to plot against Kusachiba, but now it was inadvertently reversed by Kusachiba. This terrifying thought made everyone feel vigilant. What is really terrifying is not the powerful strength, but this terrifying mind. Sarutobi Hiruzen has raised Kusachiba's vigilance level to the highest level in his heart. In the third battle, why don't you let me know how strong Kusachiba village chief is? Namikaze Minato said lightly without giving everyone much time to marvel, showing a sunny smile. I'm looking forward to it too. Kusachiba twisted his neck, his face full of excitement. Namikaze Minato can be said to be the most powerful ninja today. At least in Kusachiba's view, he is almost the most powerful on the surface. One person fights against 8 tails. Jinchuriki and Raikage join forces. On the surface, there will be no second person in this ninja world. The body of an immortal. Namikaze Minato showed his strongest state very carefully. The warm and surging power instantly filled the entire Rain Shinobi village. Even the annoying humidity seemed to disappear at this moment. The immortal body. Kusachiba smiled and also used his immortal body. Moreover, Kusachiba's immortal body immortal is even more terrifying. The ubiquitous violent force instantly gives everyone the illusion of suffocation. Staring into Kusachiba's eyes, Namikaze Minato finally realized the horror of Kusachiba's strength. A gust of wind roared past, and in an instant, the atmosphere in Rain Shinobi Village became more solemn than ever. Is this the strength of Namikaze Minato and Kusachiba? The strength of these two people is so powerful that it's scary. Hanzo was still ashamed of his tragic defeat, but he happened to sense the overwhelming terrifying aura and couldn't help but feel jealous in his heart. I am the demigod of the ninja world. How can these two people have such a terrifying chakra aura? Hanzo's heart showed a strong fear. Unfortunately, few people would pay attention to him now. Just like no one pays attention to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Losers have no value for attention. Namikaze Minato didn't waste any time. He activated the Flying Thunder God technique and disappeared. The Flying Thunder God technique is indeed powerful, but after all, it has to rely on the techniques left behind. So, as long as I move at will, how can his ninjutsu predict my position in advance? Kusachiba chuckled, kicking his feet fiercely. Stepping on the ground, the whole person was instantly ejected like a cannonball. No matter where Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God technique is going to reach, as long as Kusachiba moves, it is impossible for the opponent to use the Flying Thunder God technique to fly directly to him unless he is very lucky. As expected, the wisdom of such a terrifying battle. Namikaze Minato stopped and stood opposite Kusachiba, giving up the idea of using the Flying Thunder God technique to directly attack Kusachiba. Then, wait until I leave the technique on his body, and then use the Flying Thunder God technique to end the battle. Namikaze Minato suddenly regretted that he did not leave the technique on Kusachiba when he was doing the mission with him. Technique. Otherwise, I'm afraid today's battle will be over as soon as it begins. As strong as Uchiha Madara, Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God technique was also feared, but it was briefly cracked here by Kusachiba, making everyone feel wary. It seems that we can't have contact with Namikaze Minato. Otherwise we won't know how he died. Tsuchikage and Raikage looked at each other and thought in their hearts. You are very smart. However, no matter how powerful your taijutsu is, how can you avoid contact with my chakra? Namikaze Minato showed a warm smile. He was not worried about this battle at all. Ninjutsu Shadow Clone Technique. Namikaze Minato formed a seal with his hands and began to prepare his ninjutsu attack calmly. Taijutsu Ninja. Kusachiba squinted his eyes, chuckled, shook his head and said, it seems that the outside world has misunderstood my strength. Ninjutsu. Giant Fire Dragon Jutsu. Kusachiba used his strongest ninjutsu. In an instant, the drizzle in the entire Rain Shinobi Village disappeared instantly. A huge, 200-meter-long fire dragon descended around Kusachiba. This fire dragon is as exquisite as a real giant dragon. Even Hokage, who despises the world, makes people tremble. Ah! With a roar, this fire dragon surrounded Kusachiba and became the strongest guardian of Kusachiba. Giant Fire Dragon Jutsu. I've long heard that you created a ninjutsu that can summon a fire dragon with cage-level strength. Namikaze Minato spoke and quickly formed seals with his hands, summoning jutsu, Gamabunta. Boom! A toad that was as tall as a dozen-story building appeared in the square of Rain Shinobi Village. Namikaze Minato, do you have anything to trouble me, boss? Gamabunta held his pipe in his mouth, looking aloof. But the next moment, when Gamabunta saw the fire dragon surrounding Kusachiba, the whole toad was stunned, and he didn't even notice that his pipe fell to the ground. Such a rich magic chakra. Where did this fire dragon come from? Do you have to let me, the boss, fight this guy? Gamabunta looked reluctant. 3 black lines appeared on Namikaze Minato's forehead. Boss, this fire dragon is not a summoning beast, but a pure chakra ninjutsu. You are a dignified boss, Mount Myoboku, it shouldn't be a problem to deal with him, right? Gamabunta was full of hesitation, but since it was a matter of face at the moment, he patted his chest and said, this is a cage-level fire dragon, but who am I, Boss Toad? Deal with him. Ninjutsu. Giant Fire Dragon Technique. Kusachiba summoned a fire dragon again without any hesitation. Gamabunta's eyes bulged out. He looked at the 2 identical fire dragons, and his head shook like a rattle for a moment, I'm not strong enough to deal with him. Wait until I go back to get reinforcements. Gamabunta didn't even say hello and just summoned himself back to Mount Myoboku. After returning to Mount Myoboku, Gamabunta still looked scared. I am actually asked to deal with 2 cage-level fire dragons. Do you want me to become a roasted toad? Fortunately, boss, I can sneak away quickly. Namikaze Minato, this kid, it's just a duel, he wants to make boss, I turn into a roasted toad, but it's really not authentic. Gamabunta looked indignant, but put the responsibility of his escape on Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato froze in place, feeling as if a cold wind was blowing over his head. This summoning beast just ran away like that. Conan widened his beautiful eyes in disbelief. The corners of Nagato's mouth twitched and he nodded. That seems to be it. Isn't this guy so awesome? Conan looked at Sao Kiantu with admiration. This is a battle between 2 handsome men. As a girl, I am naturally very concerned about it. But compared to Namikaze Minato's embarrassing encounter, Kusachiba, surrounded by 2 fire dragons, is much more handsome. Your flying thunder god technique is very powerful. Then, let my 2 fire dragons fight with you. Kusachiba chuckled, waved his hand, and the 2 fire dragons rushed towards Namikaze with boundless power. Minato. For a time, wherever the 2 fire dragons passed by, not a single blade of grass grew. Even the spell left by Namikaze Minato was completely destroyed in front of this violent fire attribute chakra. And just when everyone thought Kusachiba had given up on defense, Kusachiba actually formed another seal and performed the 3rd giant god fire dragon technique. Everyone's eyes dropped to the ground. How could this be? Kusachiba can actually perform S-level ninjutsu 3 times in a row. Is it because his chakra is bottomless, or is this ninjutsu originally a B-level ninjutsu? No one can answer this question, but they know that no matter what the answer is, Kusachiba's strength far exceeds their imagination. Terumi Mei chuckled naturally at this time, and she was very satisfied with everyone's exclamation. We in the Kingdom of Water can't just let us feel the terror of this guy, right? It's only right to let everyone see this guy's pervert. Terumi Mei whispered softly with a sweet smile. The entire square has been filled with Kusachiba's fire dragons. 3 giant fire dragons, 1 guarding Kusachiba, the other chasing Namikaze Minato, and the remaining one waiting aside at all times, waiting for Namikaze Minato to use Flying Thunder God. The giant fire dragon guarding Kusachiba is almost always right next to Kusachiba. Even if Namikaze Minato could teleport to Kusachiba because of the Flying Thunder God, he would still be severely injured by this terrifying giant fire dragon in an instant. With the protection of this fire dragon, Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God technique was completely cracked. Looks like we have to go head to head. Namikaze Minato took a deep breath and looked at Kusachiba through the distorted space of the fire dragon with his deep eyes. I should have chosen this way a long time ago. Kusachiba showed a smile. Let me see the growth of yellow glitter. Flying Thunder God second stage, Rasengan. Namikaze Minato tentatively used a combination of A-level ninjutsu and Flying Thunder God technique. He instantly appeared above Kusachiba, and the blue Rasengan instantly exploded above Kusachiba's head with the help of his descending power and its terrifying speed. Since it's a head-to-head confrontation, let's go for it. The fire dragon that was waiting aside roared and headed straight for Namikaze Minato. The original fire dragon on standby instantly filled the gap left by this fire dragon. Under Kusachiba's perfect operation, these 3 fire dragons did not give Namikaze Minato any opportunity to take advantage of. Boom! The blue brilliance collided with the fire dragon, creating a dazzling brilliance. Flying Thunder God technique. Namikaze Minato teleported again, escaped from the center of the collision, and then silently observed the results of the collision. Unfortunately, what disappointed him was that this fire dragon seemed to have never been attacked at all, and was still chasing Namikaze Minato with great power and vigor. What a terrifying ninjutsu! It can actually resist Rasengan's attack. The Konoha village ninja on the side said with a look of amazement. Terumi Mei looked at this ninja, curled her lips and chuckled in her heart. Poor mortals, I'm afraid they can't imagine that this ninjutsu can directly fight Tailed Beast Bomb, right? In the square, the battle is still going on, and Namikaze Minato is still testing the strength of this fire dragon. This is the purest form of energy-based combat technique, but its super speed has no place to express itself. Whether it's Kusachiba's taijutsu or Namikaze Minato's flying thunder god technique, they can't hold back their sharpness for a while now. The strength of these two people is so terrifying. Tsuchikage and Reikage looked at each other, their hearts filled with annoyance. Once, they thought they were the top people in the ninja world, but now after seeing the battle between Namikaze Minato and Kusachiba, they felt a sense of irritation. Because they know clearly in their hearts that, let alone Kusachiba, even Namikaze Minato, and they may not be able to defeat him. Could it be that in my heart Namikaze Minato is not the opponent of Kusanagi? Akira was stunned. At this time, Namikaze Minato was already preparing to use his strongest move, Wind-style Super Rasengan. This is the ninjutsu he has researched. It operates in a special way in the Rasengan and can create a horrifyingly powerful Rasengan. In an instant, the entire square was blown by a strong wind of level 12, and even small stones were blown into the sky. The strong wind even caused pain on people's faces as if they were being cut by a knife. This is a super ninjutsu wave. All cage level experts subconsciously started to retreat. Because only they can truly know the terrifying power of this ninjutsu. This ninjutsu is comparable to a small-tailed beast bomb. Terumi May had to sigh. Namikaze Minato is an outstanding man. If she had met such an outstanding man before, she would inevitably be moved. But now, Terumi May glanced at Kusachiba, recalling the terrifying power of Kusachiba that easily defeated the tailed beast bomb, and showed a beautiful smile. Wind-style Super Rasengan. I don't care what you are Rasengan. Go. Kusachiba curled his lips and 3 fire dragons roared towards Namikaze Minato. Wind-style Super Rasengan just exploded completely, but directly collided with the 3 fire dragons. At this moment, the dazzling light instantly filled the entire square. The light was more terrifying than the sun, making everyone feel as if their bodies were on fire. A layer of violent energy instantly filled the entire square, and the harsh explosions and rolling roars even overturned the clouds in the sky of Rain Shinobi Village. Rain Shinobi Village, which had never seen the sun before, saw a beautiful sunset at this moment. The game is over, Kusachiba murmured. Just when everyone thought that this time it was another evenly matched collision, a dragon roar suddenly came from the terrifying and violent energy center. Ouch! Hoki's voice is arrogant and terrifying. Almost in the blink of an eye, 2 surviving fire dragons appeared in front of Namikaze Minato with a violent aura. Flying Thunder God Technique. Namikaze Minato almost didn't blink an eye, and instantly used his escape ninjutsu. But this time, the technique he left behind was not in Rain Shinobi Village, but in Konoha Village. All the spells he had left in Rain Shinobi Village had been completely destroyed in the terrifying wave just now. It seems that we won the 3rd battle. Kusachiba squinted his eyes, casually dismissed his 2 fire dragons, turned to look at Hanzo of the Salamander and asked calmly. Hanzo clenched his fists tightly, no longer as calm as before, but at the moment, he did not dare to get angry with Kusachiba. Even though Kusachiba had used S-level ninjutsu 3 times, he didn't think he could defeat Akira Chiba. HMPH. Let me do the 4th battle. Tsuchikage stood up and looked at Kusataki beside Kusachiba with a grin. Obviously, the only cage-level experts left on Kusachiba's side are Kusataki and Yahiko. Yahiko does not have a Rinnegan, and Tsuchikage only has cage-level strength with the help of ninja tools. To Tsuchikage, he is just an existence that can be easily crushed to death. There was also a sinister smile in Reikage's eyes. Even if he lost 2 games, he would have to kill the 2 cage-level experts on Kusachiba's side. In the 4th battle, we admit defeat. Kusachiba lowered his eyelids and shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said calmly. Of course, we will also admit defeat in the 5th battle. Kusachiba looked up. Although he said he was admitting defeat, there was no depression on his face after admitting defeat. Instead, he looked like a winner. Best of 3 in 5 games. Kusachiba has taken control of the situation, and now even if he gives up 2 duels, he doesn't feel any pain. Tsuchikage was so angry that he almost jumped. He had endured it for so long just to let the world realize his power again. But Kusachiba didn't give this chance at all. Reikage felt equally uncomfortable, but now in this situation, he also knew that he seemed to be unable to take advantage. Because there are 6 elite Jonin beside Kusachiba. Coupled with the existence of Kurigakure, Akatsuki Organization and Sunagakur, they have no chance at all even if they go head to head. This time, Kusachiba was extremely well prepared and did not give them any chance to take advantage of him. What am I? It was agreed beforehand. There are 5 rounds, and you can put forward a condition for each victory. Now we only win 1 round. Kusachiba set his sights on Sarutobi Hiruzen, then does the 3rd Hokage agree with this result? Sarutobi Hiruzen snorted and turned his head to ignore Kusachiba. It seems that the 3rd Hokage has acquiesced. Then, we can make a request. In fact, my request is not high. Song asked the Master Mizukage to hand over the body used by the 8-Gate Road to me. Kusachiba smiled. From the time he chose to put his 2 cage level attribute points on taijutsu, Kusachiba had already set his sights on 8 inner gates. Now, Konoha village has brought the opportunity to its doorstep. 8 inner gates is our secret technique of Konoha. How can we teach it to others? You should change your request. The 3rd generation sneered and refused unceremoniously. So, Mr. 3rd generation, do you want to overturn the previous agreement? Kusachiba squinted his eyes, adjusted his collar, and added the few attribute points he had left to his physical skills. The increase in these physical skills will not increase the strength too much, but it has an effect that is caught by the blades of grass. That is to restore chakra and physical strength. With the recovery of chakra, Kusachiba once again bursts out with the terrifying power of a cage-level powerhouse. Everyone's clothes were rustling, and the scorching sun was in the sky at this time, but everyone felt a kind of hot needle-point glow. Overturn. How is it possible? How could I overturn my decision? However, the 8 inner gates is a secret of Konoha village and cannot be taught to others. Please ask Mayor Kusachiba to make another request. Sarutobi Hiruzen at this time, he laughed coldly, as if he would break up if he disagreed. Even if he loses, Sarutobi Hiruzen can shamelessly deny the bet with his strong strength. This is the power of the strong. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Kusachiba coldly. Kusachiba put his hands behind his back, narrowed his eyes slightly, and kept tapping the back of his right hand with the middle finger of his left hand. Would you like to change your request? Very good. Then, how about letting the people from the Akatsuki organization leave alive? Kusachiba said. Let them leave alive. Impossible. They are traitors to our Rain Shinobi village. If we let them leave alive today, wouldn't the world think that our Rain Shinobi village has lost its rules? Hanzo of the Salamander smiled coldly, and actually it was as simple as admitting Kusachiba's conjecture. Just now, Kusachiba had already realized that something was wrong. These people might still want to rely on their strength to forcefully retain people. The only thing that is somewhat uncertain is who these people want to keep. How big their appetite is. Now it seems that they do not dare to fight Kusachiba to the death, but instead set their sights on Nagato, who has no fighting power but has extremely terrifying potential. But, do you really think of me as a soft persimmon? A cold look flashed across Kusachiba's face, and he said coldly, Sarutobi Hiruzen, do you think you can defeat me? As soon as the words fell, the terrifying power of Kusachiba's immortal body was instantly revealed, and the dark clouds that had begun to close in the sky of Rain Shinobi village were once again dispersed. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked back uncertainly. Sannin was the most powerful combat force on their side now. If Sannin is really not united, then things will naturally be a little tricky. Onoki Reikage, at this time, couldn't help but think of the giant god fire dragon technique that Kusachiba had just used. For this ninjutsu, they must use S-level ninjutsu to fight. However, Kusachiba can use S-level ninjutsu 3 times, and then can use powerful taijutsu to continue fighting. But they can't. The situation instantly became extremely complicated, and Hanzo of the Salamander looked unwilling at this time. If the Akatsuki organization cannot be destroyed today, he will have trouble sleeping and eating. Kusachiba ignored the ridiculous Hanzo. He smiled and turned to look at Nagato, who had lost a lot of energy. This time, I can't thank you enough, Nagato, for your help. I agree with the dream of your Akatsuki organization. I wonder if Nagato is willing to join hands with our Kusanagi village to create a peaceful world. Nagato was stunned for a moment, wondering why Kusachiba suddenly said this at this time. Ha 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 ha, you idiot. You can leave Rain Shinobi Village alive and talk about bullshit peace. Hanzo of the Salamander cursed crazily. Let's talk about this after we get out of here alive, right? Nagato smiled weakly. Kusachiba waved his hand, turned his back to Sarutobi Hiruzen and said, Sarutobi Hiruzen, my patience is limited. Either fight, BDBE, or let them go. Kusachiba did not say clearly that if a war really breaks out, now that Sarutobi Hiruzen chakra is exhausted, he is 80% sure to use the giant fire dragon technique to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen first. Sarutobi Hiruzen could feel the strong confidence in Kusachiba's words. He looked at Kusachiba's back suspiciously, and finally nodded lightly. No matter Tsuchikage Onoki, Reikage or Hanzo, they never expected that Sarutobi Hiruzen would be so weak. Third Hokage-sama, if you do this, you will let the tiger go home. If we let them go this time, I'm afraid we won't have such a good opportunity again. Everyone discouraged, but Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head gently. He looked deeply at Kusachiba's back. If we go to war with all our strength, I'm afraid the only outcome will be the destruction of all lives. There will definitely be no winner by then. The rise of the Grass Ninja Village has been unstoppable. Let's recognize it as the sixth powerful nation. This is the only thing we should do now, instead of continuing to suppress him. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand calmly. Sarutobi Hiruzen-sama is really smart. I look forward to our next meeting. Kusachiba led everyone out of Rain Shinobi Village with a hint of amusement on his lips. This time, it was evenly matched. However, I still feel deeply unwilling in my heart. Kusachiba slowly clenched his fists. Nowadays, Kusachiba does not lack attribute points. What he lacks is just cage-level attribute points. Just after leaving the village, Mizukage Terumime and Grandma Chio of Sunagakure received an invitation from Sarutobi Hiruzen, saying that they had important matters to discuss. Kusachiba chuckled, looked at Nagato who looked thoughtful and said, go with these. If you don't leave, I'm afraid there will be some excitement, but it won't happen. Terumime nodded slightly. Knowing that something big was about to happen, she reluctantly said, be careful. Kusachiba Haki smiled. In this world, there are many people who want to kill me. But the person who can kill me has not yet appeared. I just like you Haki. Terumime blew a kiss to Kusachiba, leaving a string of laughter like silver bells, and finally left Kusachiba to chase Granny Chio. Sarutobi Hiruzen also felt unwilling, but he always put the overall situation first. He took a deep look at Sanin, nodded and said, go back to the village. The extremely lively Six Shadows talk came to such an anticlimactic ending. An armistice or not is not even on the table for discussion. But everyone clearly knows that no matter what, Kusanagi village has suddenly become as powerful as Konoha village. There may be some shortcomings in terms of foundation, but in terms of Jonin, elite Jonin and influence, Kusanagi village is no longer afraid of Konoha village. Just let them leave like that. Hanzo of the Salamander clenched his fists tightly, with the same reluctance in his heart. He worked hard, made promises, and lied to deceive Nagato, just for this six-cage meeting. But this time in the Six Shadows talk, it seemed that he was the one who failed the most. He gained nothing but losses. I think Tsuchikage and Reikage-sama don't want to see this ending, right? Hanzo of the Salamander asked calmly while Tsuchikage and Reikage had not left. Tsuchikage and Reikage were stunned for a moment, and Onoki said directly, of course we are not willing to give in. However, it is difficult for us to take action now. However, some of our ninjas in Rock Shinobi Village can also accept tasks from allies. The ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village can also accept missions from allies. Reikage left these words and left Rain Shinobi Village with Onoki. Those who stayed behind were the many masters from both countries who had followed them to Rain Shinobi Village. Is that so? A glint flashed in Hanzo's eyes. It seems that everyone wants to use me as a spear user. Very good, then this time, I will let everyone see my strength. Hanzo waved his hand. While they are not far away, chase after me. If I, Hanzo, don't destroy your Akatsuki organization, I won't be named Senshoyu today. Hanzo looked back and saw that he has more than a dozen elite Jonin under his command, plus his own forces. This time, he will wipe out the Akatsuki organization in one fell swoop. The same thing happened to Sarutobi Hiruzen. He will not show his darkness in front of Sanin, but he can secretly order the Anbu ninja to return to Rain Shinobi Village and obey the orders of Hanzo of the Salamander. Kusachiba chatted with Nagato along the way, but was not angry when he found that Nagato had no intention of joining him. No matter what, thank you for your help today. If something happens in the future, you can send out this fireworks. As soon as I see it, I will rush over. Kusachiba handed Nagato a communication talisman. Nagato nodded, said goodbye and left. The strength of this Nagato is really terrifying. He can defeat Hanzo of the Salamander at such a young age. If he continues to grow, he might be able to reach a level second only to the village chief in strength. Kusatake said with some smacking of tongue. This time, Kusatake came with Kusachiba purely to gain experience, and this time, he really saw many things that I had only seen in the past. Everyone can see this, so I'm afraid not many people want him to continue to grow. A wise light flashed in Kusachiba's eyes. Kusatake was surprised. Ah. Then should we help them? Kusachiba smiled meaningfully. It's natural to help, but if we don't let him realize the cruelty of the world, how can they be willing to believe in our sincerity? Kusachiba narrowed his eyes and led everyone to a slow stop. Now Kusachiba has 6 elite Jonin under his command. Whether it's Shiro or the others, their strength is already pretty good. Just in time, I also need cage level attribute points. Danzo, I hope you won't be a coward. Kusachiba had a cold smile on his lips and led everyone to rest where they were. Not long after, a gorgeous fireworks rose in the sky. Okay. A gleam flashed in Kusachiba's eyes, and he led everyone towards the place where the fireworks were launched. Do you want to save this woman? Then kill Yahiko. Otherwise, this woman will die. Kusachiba heard an annoying sound before he even reached the place. When Kusachiba came to a valley, he saw Hanzo pointing his exaggerated sickle at Konan, and in front of Hanzo were Nagato and Yahiko. As for these 4 people, there were Chunin and several Jonin all over the mountains and plains. This is the Anbu master of Konoha Village, Rock Shinobi Village, and Cloud Shinobi Village. A group of people faced 3 people and actually threatened each other with a girl as a hostage. Hanzo-sama, you are getting better and better as you live. Kusachiba sneered and stepped out slowly. Behind Kusachiba is the most elite force in the Grass Ninja Village. Kusatake has activated all 4 sets of ninja tools on his body, and his experience is violently stirring the entire valley. Bai, at this time, was surrounded by an icy aura. Anyone who was 100 meters away from her could feel the bone-chilling cold. Momochi Zabuza was also sneering at this time, and the beheading sword on his back was held in his hand at some point. As for the other 4 elite Jonin originally owned by the Kusachiba Grass Ninja Village, they each pulled out their weapons at this time and looked at the masters all over the mountain with vigilance. It turns out to be Kusachiba. If you don't hurry back to your Grass Ninja Village with your tail between your legs, you're still wandering around here. Are you looking for death? Just in time, this time, let me keep you here completely. Hanzo sneered. He felt that there was almost no possibility of failure for him now. Kusachiba is powerful, but now Hanzo only has hundreds of elite Chunin and several Jonin, plus he is a cage-level strongman. At this moment, Hanzo suddenly forgot that he still had Konan as a hostage. In fact, this hostage is completely indifferent to Nagato. Today's Nagato doesn't have much strength anymore, and even Rinnegan doesn't have much chakra to use. Under such circumstances, Hanzo grabbed Konan and used it as a threat. More importantly, he just wanted to torture Nagato and make Nagato kill each other, thereby destroying Nagato's belief in his heart. Now, when Hanzo saw Kusachiba, he naturally fell in love with Konan. I will fight against Kusachiba. The rest of you, get rid of these garbage as soon as possible. Hanzo left these instructions and quickly approached Kusachiba. Konan, on the other hand, had been thrown away by Hanzo just now, destroying most of his vitality, and could only fall to the ground softly. The poison possessed by Hanzo is extremely terrifying, and Konan naturally cannot withstand Hanzo's poison attack. Hanzo is very fast and he is very confident. Body flicker technique. Kusachiba passed directly over Hanzo, came to Konan, and hugged Konan. Danzo, on the other hand, was stopped by Kusatake. Your opponent is me. If you want to fight against the village chief, you are not qualified. Kusatake sneered and said disdainfully. Wearing a four-piece ninja suit, Kusatake had the effect of a gas mask, so Hanzo's poison attack was easily ignored by him. The rest of the elite Jonin formed a formation to protect Nagato and the two. The mountains and fields of explosive charms, shurikens, kunai, and various ninjutsu instantly obscured the 6 elite Jonin. Ice release. Bingyan Tangwu, walls like ice crystals appeared around Bai's body, resisting most of the attacks. Earth-style wall. Immediately afterwards, the ninjas of the ninja village and Momochi Zabuza each used their own defensive ninjutsu. The attacks all over the mountains and plains were temporarily resisted by these 6 people. Just the 6 of you, how can you resist the attacks of so many masters? An Anbu ninja from Konoha village sneered and quickly formed seals with his hands, obviously wanting to consume these defensive ninjutsu as quickly as possible. At this moment, Kusachiba formed a seal with one hand, ninjutsu giant fire dragon jutsu. Ouch! A fire dragon soared out and instantly guarded Kusachiba and the 6 elite Jonin. Kusachiba at this time, Tuan lowered his head and looked at Konan. Konan's face had turned gray. It seemed that Hanzo had no idea of mercy at all. The moment Kusachiba appeared, he wanted to kill Konan first. Kusachiba is holding Konan in her hands, and he can feel the vitality draining from her body very quickly. Hanzo is really a fool, a girl like this is so harsh. Hanzo, you are such a fool, you are so harsh. Kusachiba said angrily. Although the ninja world is extremely cruel, you can be so heartless and tarnish your reputation as a demigod. Kusachiba, this is a cruel world, do you know it? After saying this, Hanzo laughed wildly, quite wildly. Stop worrying about others, worry about yourself. After saying that, Hanzo suddenly took action, controlled the exaggerated scythe to Kusachiba's side, and attacked him fiercely. Hanzo's ninja sickle contains the poison of Sancho fish. Once it is contaminated, the poison will immediately enter the body, and then it will become like Konan. 423, Chiba didn't want to end up like this. He quickly used his physical skills, did a few backflips, and instantly distanced himself from Hanzo. At the same time, he formed a seal instantly, used fire style, and shouted, "Fire style, great fireball." Quote. A great fireball suddenly appeared in the air, blocking Hanzo's attack. Now Hanzo had no choice but to stop his offensive to fight against the great fireball technique. Awesome, I didn't expect you to use the Uchiha family's magic so skillfully. Hanzo exclaimed in admiration, quite appreciating Kusachiba's ninjutsu genius. Hanzo is famous for appreciating talents. In the original work, he fought with 3 people from Konoha and finally gave them the title of Sannin himself, which shows his talent for recognizing people. But once his power and status are touched, Hanzo is also famous for being ruthless and will not leave any chance of survival. He admired Kusachiba's ninja talent, but now Kusachiba was always against him, so he naturally regarded him as a stumbling block and got along with him. The same is true for Hanzo dealing with Nagato here. Unfortunately, he encountered Kusachiba, and his purpose may have failed. At this time, Kusachiba and Hanzo had opened a safe distance. Kusachiba was holding Konan in her arms. She was extremely weak at the moment, her face was pale, and it was difficult to even speak. Konan, who was eroded by toxins, had extremely low vitality. At this time, Nagato came over and asked with concern, "Is she okay?" Kusachiba said, "Of course there is something going on, but the most important thing now is to fight off these evil people." After hearing Kusachiba's words, Nagato nodded in agreement. This is indeed the only way now. Remember, you follow my command, stay here and don't move. Kusachiba ordered, as if he was Nagato's superior. Nagato didn't know why, but he felt very relieved after hearing Kusachiba's words. At this moment, Hanzo had come to his senses and was preparing to attack Kusachiba. Hanzo is known as a demigod, so he is naturally very skilled in ninjutsu. The most important thing is that he is full of poison, and no one dares to provoke him easily. Poison mist spray. Hanzo suddenly appeared and used his trump card. The poisonous mist spurted out instantly. If it breathed into the mouth, it would probably lose the ability to resist in an instant. Kusachiba's technique was activated to make the entire poisonous mist fly into the air and avoid the attack. Kusa-Chiba naturally refused to suffer a loss, and at the same time fired the kunai in his hand, hitting Hanzo's position. Hanzo wanted to avoid it, but it was not that easy. Soon the detonating charm on the kunai ignited and started to explode. This place instantly turned into a sea of fire and exploded into ruins. Of course Kusa-Chiba would not believe that Hanzo would fail so easily. He also had his own backup plan. Sure enough, Hanzo in the sea of fire suddenly disappeared and turned into gas, turning out to be Shadow Clone. At this time, Hanzo holding a huge scythe suddenly appeared behind Kusa-Chiba. A pair of kunai appeared in Kusa-Chiba's hand and struck Hanzo's scythe. With a bang, the two sides collided. Hanzo showed a ferocious look on his face and sneered, "Kusa-Chiba, now is the day you die." Kusa-Chiba knew how powerful Hanzo was, and if he was allowed to use that decisive sword flash, he might not be able to resist it. So, Kusa-Chiba used taijutsu to kick Hanzo far away, and prepared to use fire style to attack again. Hanzo stood up at this time, touched his chest, and glanced at Kusa-Chiba bitterly. He knew that it was impossible to kill Nagato today and could only retreat. At this moment, the side of his hand was suppressed by Kusatake, and he was about to win. Hanzo shouted to the sky, "Retreat, today's mission ends here." After hearing Hanzo's order, his men immediately withdrew from the battle and retreated towards the back. "Oh, don't run, I haven't fought enough yet," Kusatake shouted helplessly, obviously exhausted from the excitement. "This group of rubbish, just retreat. My broadsword has just been excited," Zabuza said without finishing his thoughts, which was very disappointing. "Don't worry, there will be opportunities to continue fighting in the future." Kusa-Chiba came over and said to them, "Okay, as long as you say this, I will definitely fight him happily," Zabuza said excitedly. Momochi Zabuza is also a fighting madman and likes to fight with others. Every one of the 7 water ninja swordsmen is a fighting madman, with crazy blood in their bones. Kusa-Chiba also had his own selfish motives for saving Nagato this time. After all, a bloodline of Rinnegan's level is awesome. If you have such a person under your command, it will be quite convenient to use. With the addition of a super thug, you can move sideways. Now we just need to save Konan and then subdue Nagato. She is covered in Sanshotoxin, which has entered her blood. This is very difficult to deal with. Seeing Konan's pale, paper-colored eyes, Kusa-Chiba said, "What should I do? As long as I can save her, I can agree to whatever you ask for." Nagato came over at this time and knelt down to Kusa-Chiba. "Don't do this now. I will definitely save her, but I don't have enough medicinal materials for the time being, so I can only go back to the grass ninja village before taking action. Are you willing to go back with me?" Kusa-Chiba said with hope. Kusa-Chiba then begins his abduction plan. Once these 3 people are trained, they will all become super thugs, and no one will dare to mess with him. Upon hearing Kusa-Chiba's words, Nagato was immediately moved by the sincere look on his face. Nagato felt that Kusa-Chiba was a trustworthy companion. He pondered for a while and said, "Okay, I can go back with you, but you must promise cure Konan." Seeing that his wish came true, Kusa-Chiba was naturally willing to make a big deal and said, "This is all trivial, I can definitely cure her." Nagato calmed down and prepared to follow Kusa-Chiba back. At this time, Tozo, who was hiding in the dark, saw this scene, with a jealous and crazy look in his one eye, and cursed in a low voice, "This Kusa-Chiba, once again ruined my good deeds." Kusa-Chiba took Nagato and his party back to Kusakunin village, but encountered no danger along the way. Danzo never showed up, probably because he saw the powerful force of Kusa-Chiba and his team, so he didn't dare to take action rashly. At this moment, in the hospital in Kusanagi village, Konan was lying on the bed and fell into a coma. "Kusa-Chiba-sama, this young lady's condition is very serious. Her whole body is filled with toxins. There is no way to solve her problem," said the medical ninja of Kusanagi village. The medical ninja in front of him is the most skilled medical ninja in Kusanagi village. Even he is helpless, which shows that Konan's condition is indeed difficult to treat. Then what if blood transfusion is performed? Is it feasible? Chiba suddenly said. Hearing Kusa-Chiba's words, the medical ninja was shocked. What? Blood transfusion therapy is unheard of. Kusa-Chiba decided to use blood transfusion to treat Konan's illness. because the toxin of the Sancho fish spread all over Conan's body, and she was covered in poisonous blood. This was the only way to save her. The name of the medical ninja is Takaragi Shinzuki. He looked shocked and said in surprise, "How is it possible? A major blood transfusion in the whole body cannot be done by ordinary medical ninjas, unless they are elite-level medical ninjas." Hearing Bayomu's words, Kusachiba's face froze. Elite-level medical ninjas are already rare in number, and each one is a treasure in the village. Kusanagi village is a small village and there are no elite medical ninjas. Kusachiba knows this very well. Nagato saw the troubled look on Kusachiba's face and said, "Thank you for your help. Since we know how to detoxify, we won't bother you and we will find it ourselves." Kusachiba looked at Nagato and said sternly, "Now Conan's blood is full of toxins. Once he moves, he may be poisoned and die. Then what should we do? Where can we find the elite medical ninja?" Nagato looked anxious. After all, this was a matter of life and death for Conan. Elite medical ninja. Suddenly a woman with the image of a royal sister appeared in Kusachiba's mind. Doesn't his neighbor Konoha village have such a master? Who said there are no medical ninjas? I know one. Kusachiba said firmly, confidently. Who is it? Nagato asked aloud. Ordinarily, if there was a medical expert of this level in Kusanagi village, he would definitely know that he would not be unknown. Senju Tsunade. Kusachiba said in a deep voice. This medical master among the Hokage has reached the pinnacle of medical ninjutsu. Upon hearing the name, Nagato was ecstatic and said, "So you know this big shot?" "I don't know," Kusachiba said coldly, extinguishing Nagato's enthusiasm like a basin of cold water. "What should we do?" Nagato said slightly disappointed. After all, he just had such a sweet date, but he was immediately beaten with a stick, which really disappointed Nagato. "We can kidnap her," Kusachiba said aloud, as if it was an understatement. "Kidnapping her. She is one of the legendary Sannin. She is superb in ninjutsu and is a big shot in Konoha. Kidnapping her will cause public outrage," Nagato said softly. After all, he has not turned black yet. So what about the big shots? What about Konoha? It's over once they're tied up. Why is there all this nonsense? Kusachiba said simply. Hearing Kusachiba's words, Nagato saw his decisive side. No wonder he could become the leader of the Grass Ninja Village at a young age. He indeed has a certain personality charm. Okay, then I will listen to you and just give you your orders. Nagato introduced Kusachiba from the bottom of his heart and was willing to accept Kusachiba's leadership. Okay, let's take action without further delay. Send out the ninjas to explore Tsunade's whereabouts. The others will be ready to capture Tsunade alive. Kusachiba made his purpose very clear and made his arrangements very specific. After Kusachiba made such arrangements, everyone began to prepare and set off there. Of course, in order to ensure the confidentiality of the matter, Kusachiba limited the release of this mission to 7 people, and even the ninjas who were investigating Tsunade's whereabouts were his confidants. Soon, news spread that Tsunade was taking a concubine with a little girl named Shizune to gamble in a town. Upon hearing the news, Kusachiba smiled and murmured, "This guy really still has the same temper and loves gambling, but unfortunately he is a legendary fat sheep." At this moment, in the gambling den, Tsunade is only in his 30s, still young and beautiful. Wearing the coat with the word, "Gamble," on it, he was squandering money wantonly at the gambling table. But Tsunade, who was supposed to have a series of bad luck, actually had good luck with his gambling at this moment. He actually won 5 or 6 games in a row, which shocked Shizune next to him. "Tsunade-sama, your gambling luck is unexpectedly good today, what's the matter?" Shizune said, looking at the handsome Tsunade at the gambling table. But there was no smile on Tsunade's face. Instead, she frowned tightly. She was holding the paiju in her hand, but she used force and broke the paiju. Now the people at the gambling table looked at Tsunade, confused by her and wondering what she was doing. Tsunade knew that once his gambling luck went well, it meant bad things were coming, and it meant someone around him was going to die. She had just experienced the death of a relative and was very sensitive to this. At this moment, she was extremely depressed. She pushed the money forward and said in a depressed tone, "No more gambling, no more gambling, I'll give it all to you." Seeing Tsunade's generosity, Shizune was very disgusted and said angrily, Tsunade-sama, these money can be used to buy a lot of things. Master Bites, give it away. Tsunade will not tell her thoughts to a little girl. She just wants to use the money to buy good luck to those around her. These gamblers had never seen such a weirdo before. They just muttered and snatched up all their money in an instant, leaving nothing behind. He is really a weirdo, but he is still a kind person and he is willing to give us money. Yes, it's so real. After saying that, Tsunade and Shizune walked out of the gambling house, walked slowly for a while, and came to a sparsely populated suburban forest. Come out, you must be quite tired after following me for so long. Tsunade said in a deep voice. After saying that, Tsunade used his strange power to hit the ground. A gap opened in the ground, and Kusachiba and Kusataki appeared in front of Tsunade. Soon, Nagato and Yahiko also came out, a group of 7 people, all dressed as teenagers with green faces. Who are you? Tsunade asked sharply. After all, since the death of his fiancé and brother, Tsunade had no interest in the affairs of the village and left Konoha with a sad mood, and he did not care about the affairs of the ninja world. So naturally she didn't know Kusachiba, who had recently become famous, but she saw the village mark on their forehead. Seeing the group of people appearing, Tsunade asked aloud, "You are from Kusanagi village and you are so brave. Don't you know who I am?" Kusachiba smiled slightly and said, "Of course I know, you are the legendary Sannin, Senju Tsunade. You know who I am, and you still dare to follow me. Aren't you afraid of Konoha's revenge?" Tsunade said aloud. "I'm afraid, this word won't even appear in my dictionary. Just let it go, Tsunade, don't resist needlessly," Kusachiba said aloud. Tsunade looked disgusted. This brat actually let her get away with nothing. It was an insult to her as one of the Sannin. She was naturally upset to be despised, especially for a boy who was half his age. "It's a joke, boy, let's see how you beat me," Tsunade shouted loudly, his face naturally full of anger. At this time, all 3 Kusataki were ready and began to attack Tsunade. Originally, he was full of contempt for Kusataki and the others, but when he saw the cage-level strength that Kusataki and the others had exploded, Tsunade immediately put aside his contempt. But what was replaced was a cautious look on his face. Where did these teenagers come from? Such a weird group of teenagers was surprising. Super strong, all of them have reached cage level, there are 4 of them, they are so young, they come from different ninja villages, what kind of power are these? Tsunade looked shocked, but she didn't have any time to hesitate. Tsunade was surrounded by this group of people. Tsunade was about to use his ninjutsu, but these 4 ninjas made unexpected moves. Kusataki and the other 3 actually cut their arms, splattering a lot of blood, all of which sprayed onto Tsunade's face. Tsunade suffered from hemorrhage, and when he encountered such dense blood, his face immediately turned pale, his feet became weak, and he immediately fainted. "Take action and imprison her." Seeing Tsunade fainting, Kusachiba ordered his men to restrain her without saying a word. Even Kusataki and the others couldn't figure out how to subdue the legendary Sannin so easily. "How do you know about Tsunade's weakness? It's so amazing. Your Excellency is becoming more and more unpredictable, making it hard for people to understand. It seems that we made the right choice to follow you, sir." Kusataki and the other 3 praised Kusachiba again. Of course, they were all sincere. After all, Kusachiba brought them to see a different world. Shizune was so frightened that he was trembling all over, his face was pale, and he didn't dare to raise his head. He looked at Kusataki and said, "Don't kill me, I don't want to die." Kusataki just wanted to kill Shizune, but was restrained by Kusachiba and said, "Take her away too, let's all leave here, otherwise there will be trouble." As soon as they finished speaking, Kusotaki and the other 2 men lifted Tsunade and knocked Shizune unconscious. The group of 7 people disappeared into the forest in an instant, leaving nothing behind. Nagato looked excited. Now that Konan was saved, he was naturally happy. He admires Kusachiba more for being able to accomplish what he wants without killing anyone. Nagato naturally hopes that he can become a similar person. Nagato wants to know Kusachiba better, and even thinks that it would be good to become his subordinate. After all, the Kusataki 3 really follow Kusachiba. Kusachiba treats the 3 of them like his own brothers, which is very good. "Kusachiba-sama, after I get back, I can have a little chat with you." I have many questions that need your advice, Nagato said respectfully. When Kusachiba heard this, he knew that his abduction plan had begun to work. Nagato had begun to want to understand himself, and everything was moving in the direction he wanted to go. Okay, but now it's better for us to leave temporarily. After all, it's not safe here, Kusachiba said. Although Kusachiba is not convinced by Konoha, kidnapping a ninja from a large village can easily cause diplomatic disputes, and it may become a war between the two villages. Senju Tsunade's identity is particularly special. She was born into the Senju clan, a wealthy family in Konoha. Her grandfather and great-uncle were both Hokage, and the third generation was her master. She herself is Konoha's public figure. So the news cannot be leaked. You must explain to Tsunade immediately after returning, let her perform blood transfusion surgery on Konan, and then send her away. Kusachiba will naturally not tell his subordinates these thoughts. Now his goal is to convince Tsunade to let her treat Konan. According to Tsunade's character setting in Hokage, she has a kind heart, and it should be okay if she is moved by emotion. Kusachiba is still very confident about this. Seeing the confident smile on Kusachiba's face, Nagato was also infected and said, Kusachiba-sama, thank you very much this time. No, after reviving Konan first, you can thank me later. Now is not the time, Kusachiba said to Nagato. Kusachiba did not ask for favors from Nagato and the others, but instead made Nagato admire him even more. He is a person with a noble temperament. Although Kusachiba and the others were very secretive, the news of Tsunade's kidnapping still reached Konoha. When he saw this information, Sarutobi Hiruzen slapped the information on the table and shouted loudly. Our ninja was captured by a neighboring village. It is a great shame and humiliation. Where will we put the face of Konoha if the news spreads? What's more, Tsunade is our princess of Konoha. It's outrageous to fall into the hands of such a small ninja village. The ninjas standing in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen were trembling, lowering their heads and not daring to speak for fear of offending him. At this time, a gloomy voice came, Sarutobi, leave this matter to Anbu. If it spreads openly, it will affect our reputation in Konoha. This will make other villages look down on us. Even the Sanin of our own village can be kidnapped. They will laugh at our incompetence. The person coming is Danzo, Anbu's boss. Although he really doesn't want Danzo to get involved in this matter, if he Zhao sends out the ninjas of Konoha, I'm afraid it will cause a war between the two sides. This is not what Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to see. Okay, let's leave it to you. We must ensure Tsunade's safety. After all, she is the only one left in the Senju clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen said sadly. After all, he has a deep connection with the Senju clan. Not only does he study under the Senju clan, but he is also Tsunade's master, so his relationship is naturally extraordinary. I know even if you don't tell me, I will definitely bring her back alive. After saying that, Danzo walked out of the Hokage room. Third generation Sama, are you sure it's okay to hand over the task of rescuing Tsunade-sama to Anbu? A Jonin said, obviously not trusting Danzo. Believe Danzo for the time being, after all, he is also a member of the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen defended him. Jonin obviously doesn't believe it, but he can only follow orders, after all, he is just a Jonin. Kusachiba led his 4 ninjas back to the village. Tsunade had woken up. Tsunade saw that he had been kidnapped and glared. Tsunade-sama, don't be angry, we are doing this to ask for your help. Kusachiba showed a rare smile and said cutely towards Tsunade. After all, Kusachiba is good-looking and harmless to humans and animals. Tsunade's guard did not fade away, but he still said angrily, is this how you ask for help? Kusachiba also looked embarrassed and said, we are also afraid that you won't come. After all, a big shot like you usually won't betray us. After hearing Kusachiba's words, Tsunade snorted angrily and stopped talking. Please follow me to see the patient. After saying that, Kusachiba took Tsunade's hand and walked forward regardless of whether he wanted to or not. Soon after arriving at the ward, Tsunade was shocked when he saw Konan's sick look. Is she poisoned? Tsunade said in surprise. Hanzo's Sanshotoxin is all over his body. Kusachiba said, obviously full of resentment towards Hanzo. After hearing the Sansho fish toxin, Tsunade also knew it was Hanzo and said, "Okay, I can treat her, but after the treatment, you must let me go." "Okay," Kusachiba said very simply. Kusachiba stepped forward, preparing to release Tsunade from confinement. After all, Tsunade had agreed to treatment, so there was no need to confine him anymore. Nagato and Yahiko were extremely happy when they heard Tsunade agreed. It was great. "How dare you scare me with human blood?" As soon as Tsunade's restraint was lifted, he gave Kusachiba a heavy punch. Kusachiba felt like his body was flying out of the sky like a cloud. "Let me go, this lord's strange power is indeed powerful. I can taste that strange power this time, and I will be treated the same as Jiraiya." Kusachiba smashed the wall, making people look distressed. "How dare you hurt our lord, who gave you the courage?" After saying that, the four of Kusotaki surrounded him, preparing to attack Tsunade. "Don't be reckless, I'm fine." Kusachiba walked in from the door at this time, but his face was covered with dust and his clothes were ragged, so it was difficult to say that he was fine. HMPH. Tsunade snorted arrogantly and began to prepare to treat Konan. The treatment in Sao Ninja Village is in progress, and Anbu has already started to take action. Hattori tomorrow is a Chunin of Anbu. His mission is to detect intelligence. Now he is already in the hospital of Kusanagi village and is inquiring about Tsunade's whereabouts. According to the information he received, there were only 5 places where Tsunade could be hidden in Kusakunin village, and the hospital in front of him was a good place to go. Hattori tomorrow just lay down on the roof, ready to listen to the conversation inside, but he was noticed by Kusachiba, Kusataki and the others. After all, the weakest of the 4 was also at the level of Kage. Kusachiba winked at Kusataki and asked him to look outside. Kusataki dodged and came to the roof. Hattori tomorrow was alert and knew something was wrong, so he immediately threw out his kunai and ran away. If he escapes, Kusataki's cage level strength will be improved in vain. One move, water style, big explosion style. A huge waterfall appeared here. Although Hattori hid quickly, he was still hit by this move, and he immediately lost half of his combat power. Tsunade below is using medical ninjutsu to treat Konan. If he is knocked down by this big blast technique, the entire ward will be destroyed. Water style, water barrier. Zabuza formed a seal with one hand and used a barrier ninjutsu. The entire ward was instantly surrounded by a blue-green barrier, and a large waterfall rushed toward the doctor in the distance. Tsunade's treatment process was not delayed at all and was very safe. Hattori tomorrow was picked up by Kusataki and walked in like a dead dog. Hattori tomorrow wears the unique mask of Anbu Mu, and Tsunade is at the critical moment of treatment without looking back. Kusachiba saw this scene and said, "No, since Konoha Anbu appears here BDCI, it means Danzo is also here." But Kusachiba clearly remembered that Danzo had been killed by him. Could it be that he was a cunning rabbit? Kusataki moved too much just now, and the noise here must have attracted the attention of Konoha Shinobi. Now that the operation is at its most critical, no one can disturb Tsunade. Nagato and Shiro stay, and the others follow me to stop Konoha's ninjas. Kusachiba said loudly. Kusachiba's prestige has long been deeply rooted in everyone's hearts, and everyone immediately followed him out, preparing to start the battle. Sure enough, about a dozen ninjas from Konoha Anbu all arrived. Looking at these people, Kusachiba smiled slightly, they were all old friends. Kusachiba, hand over our Lord Tsunade quickly, or else we will crush your grass ninja village. An Anbu ninja shouted. A little Chunin dares to scream at me, I really don't know the heights of the world. Kusachiba laughed out loud. After saying that, Kusachiba directly formed a seal with one hand, and a wind-style shuriken appeared in his hand. Producing a sonic boom in the air, you can imagine the power of this shuriken. The buzzing sound was very harsh. Kusachiba teleported and arrived in front of Chunin. Before he could complete the seal, he was hit hard by the wind-style shuriken. The whole person immediately flew into the sky, and his body was cut into pieces by the wind-style shuriken. The entire body was torn apart at a visible speed, and blood splashed out, like a bloody rain. That Chunin quickly fell from the sky and fell heavily to the ground. He didn't even breathe, and he couldn't die anymore. A Chunin dares to be so presumptuous with me, Kusachiba said aloud, with a look of disdain. When the Anbu ninjas of Konoha saw this scene, it was difficult for Chisho to resist Kusachiba alone. So, everyone began to attack Kusachiba. Earth style Earth flow wall. Fire style, Fire dragon technique. Water style is a great water dragon technique. ... Bang bang bang. 7 or 8 different ninjutsus were used to attack the place where Kusachiba was, many of them in self-defense. Interesting. Kusachiba smiled. This was the first time he encountered such a group of attacks. Let's see how I can break your attack. After saying that, Kusachiba immediately separated 10 shadow clone. Each shadow clone used a ninjutsu to fight back against the corresponding ninja. Water style, Big Bang Flow. Fire style, Great Fireball. One after another ninjutsu was used by Kusachiba, which dazzled all the ninjas. This is a human being, it is simply a treasure book of ninjutsu. Danzo, who was hiding in the dark, looked surprised when he saw this scene. The last time he fought Kusachiba, he relied on the power of the tailed beast, but this time when he saw him again, he actually had stronger cultivation. The last time I saw this guy, he wasn't that powerful. Why is he so powerful this time? He must have reached cage level. How can the ninjutsu of these ninjas be compared with Kusachiba? They were quickly defeated by Kusachiba, and they all fell to the ground, unable to fight back. Kusachiba didn't have a good impression of Konoha, especially the Anbu people. Kusachiba was naturally merciless in his attack. The kunai flashed in his hand, came to these ninjas, slit their throats, and harvested countless lives in an instant. At this time, the system's voice came. Ding, kill 13 chunin and increase attribute points by 2 to 60 points. Hearing the long-lost system sound, a smile appeared on Kusachiba's lips. After so many days, he finally encountered the system sound again. Now that the system's attributes have increased by 260 points, where will it be strengthened? Kusachiba thought, which made him worried. Keep it for now and think about it later. The main thing now is to kill other fish that have slipped through the net. Since Konoha invaded our grass ninja village first, they must not be allowed to go back alive. Ding, system mission, kill Danzo again, you will get a mysterious reward. Hearing the system beep, Kusachiba was convinced that Danzo was not dead. This guy was a boss who was super good at hiding. All bad things were related to him, but he just couldn't die. Kusachiba finished cleaning up this group of ninjas and prepared to find Huya's elite Jonin and Danzo. Tsunade is a big shot in Konoha. In order to save him, Konoha cannot only send out these few people. Found it. Kusachiba suddenly noticed the fluctuation of chakra, and there was still a large amount of chakra. On the roof of a house, you really can't find it unless you look carefully. The Jonin of Konoha knew that he could not escape, so he suddenly used a water-style advanced ninjutsu. A huge water dragon floated from the air and attacked Kusachiba. It's a beautiful ninjutsu, but it's a pity that you met me. Kusachiba said calmly. I saw Kusachiba spitting out a mouthful of fire and shouting into the air, fire style, great fireball technique. When the water dragon encountered Kusachiba's great fireball, it instantly turned into steam, leaving nothing behind. That's amazing. Elite Jonin was stunned for a moment, obviously not expecting that his ultimate move would be solved so easily by Kusachiba. After such a big move, the elite Jonin had very little chakra left in his body and was thinking of resting on the roof. But what responded to him was Kusachiba's kick. Kusachiba's physical skills were at the top level. The power of this kick can be imagined. This elite Jonin was kicked to the ground at once, came into close contact with the ground, and died in an instant. Secretly Danzo was immediately startled and frightened. He knew the strength of elite Jonin. Although this elite Jonin did not pose a threat to him, he simply couldn't do it for him to deal with an elite Jonin so easily. He could still remember the battle just now. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but feel scared. But as the leader of Anbu, he certainly cannot take the lead to leave and spread the news to the village. This will make him behave as a person. After Kusachiba finished taking care of this Jonin, the system prompted him to add 50 points of attributes. These attributes were still few for Kusachiba. He wanted to wait a while to strengthen his strength. He wants to kill Danzo most now. To be honest, Danzo has always been a very dark character, and it is difficult for people to like him. Danzo's life is accompanied by conspiracy, and his whole temperament is dark. If third-generation Sarutobi Hiruzen is the light side of Konoha, then Danzo represents the dark side. Danzo is responsible for some dirty things behind the scenes. Although Danzo tried his best to hide himself, his chakra had long been known to Kusachiba, and soon, ZA locked Danzo's location. Kusachiba appeared in front of Danzo in an instant, and stabbed Danzo with the kunai in his hand. Danzo was always on guard, so although Kusachiba's sudden attack caught him off guard, he still had corresponding changes. Danzo quickly took out his sword to block, barely able to block Kusachiba's blow. But Kusachiba's attack was continuous, and he kicked Danzo with another kick. Danzo had no way to resist, and he fell backwards all at once, falling several times. But Danzo knew the power of Kusachiba, so he didn't dare to delay too much, and immediately used the fire-style fireball technique. A huge flame attacked Kusachiba, but Kusachiba had already been prepared. A big kunai appeared in his hand, and he lifted the fireball into the sky without delaying his progress at all. Asterisk 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 asterisk. When Danzo saw this scene, he smiled bitterly. He was about to make a move, but was hit in the throat by Kusachiba's kunai, causing blood to flow out. He covered his throat and made a low roaring hissing sound. Kusachiba kicked him in the chest and then used fire style. Fire style, great fireball. This move immediately set Danzo on fire. His throat was sealed by a kunai, and he was burned again. There was no possibility of survival. I'm sure I'll die this time. I'm afraid this guy has used some secret technique to continuously create clones. Kusachiba murmured. Thinking of this, Kusachiba thought of Orochimaru. This guy should be conducting so-called human experiments now, the longevity technique, or should be called the eternal youth technique. Orochimaru is a talented person in experimental science. If he makes good use of it, he might be able to help himself. Anyway, he plans to make enemies of those major ninja villages, and the more talents he has under his command, the better. Kill Danzo again, complete the task specified by the system, and obtain the system's mysterious reward. You can do it by spinning the roulette. Do you want to open it now? At the same time, the system will reward 500 attribute points whether to redeem it or not. Seeing the system prompts, Kusachiba did not choose to redeem immediately this time. He planned to take a look at his own practice and prepare for the future development of the situation. The battle on Kusotaki's side is also coming to an end. Although there are elite Jonin on Konoha's side, if they encounter Kusataki and the others, they will only die. Soon, these people came to Kusachiba and followed his instructions. Send someone to take these corpses to the autopsy room and clean them up. Kusachiba said loudly, very majestic. Kusataki heard Kusachiba's order and immediately carried it out. Kusachiba went to the room to see Tsunade, who was treating the disease, and to see how Konan was doing. Soon, Kusachiba came to the ward. Before he reached it, he heard Nagato's cheerful voice. Konan, it's great that you can wake up. At this moment, Konan was extremely weak. Although the toxins in her body had been excreted after blood transfusion, she could not walk. After Tsunade's treatment, the chakra in his body was consumed a lot, and he was almost exhausted. He was lying on the bed, being supported by Nagato and Shiro, and could no longer stand. Seeing this scene, Kusachiba felt a little guilty. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.